Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's that time again, episode number 142 for another week in a row. We are here from the sidelines, back on the airwaves. We appreciate you guys tuning in every single week for the show. We got a fun guest tonight, and we're excited to bring him on in just a few short minutes. But before we do that, as always, we got to bring in our co-hosts. They're here every week on the show, and we appreciate their dedication. Brando Baird, how you doing, my man? It's another week. We're back on a Tuesday.
Oh, I'm good. I'm glad you said it. Every week hearing, for the show. Every week. I never missed a week. Since day one. That's a damn lie.
You missed 20 weeks, buddy. It's okay. You'll catch up at some point. Me and Nat's got to get really sick.
I had a death in there too, but whatever. We'll see.
Yeah, you did die. We brought you back. It's lore of the show. Stephen Hatcher, our other co-host, who's waiting patiently. I know he's got some thoughts on this. How you doing, buddy?
Oh man, do I have thoughts on this? Let me tell you, it is taking every ounce of my strength to not fanboy. Let me just say. So I'm very excited to get into every single topic we have tonight.
I wasn't even talking about our guest, but fair enough. We will get to him in just a moment. But before we do, guys, we got to remind you about our sponsors who are here every week on the show. Liquid IV, we love them. The superior hydration multiplier. If you're at the field at 100-degree weather in California, you need Liquid IV. You're going to be sweating a lot. You're going to be getting rid of those electrolytes. So you got to replenish them with something. You can do it with the sugar formula, the sugar-free formula, the immunity booster. They have a sleep booster, an energy booster. Liquid IV has got you covered. Whatever you're looking for, different options, different flavors. It's a great product. We use it over here on the show, and we recommend you do as well at home. Head over to Liquid IV, promo code Mafia_Moffitt, 20% off and free shipping on your first order over there. Make sure you use the promo code Mafia_Moffitt, and check it on out, guys. Recommend you grab some. If you need a flavor recommendation, the Firecracker's great. It tastes like a bomb pop. Also, the Rainbow Sherbet, if you're looking at the sugar-free side, that's a very good flavor as well. We love them over here. Grape, these boys like the Concord grape. There's a lot of great options. You can't go wrong at liquidiv.com. All right, boys, next up, NECTR Energy. They've been here on the show for quite a while at this point, multiple years. The boys over at NECTR.energy. That's their website, nectar.energy. Head over there, get more information about the awesome little energy pouch. You throw it in your lip, you get buzzed up. It's got caffeine and a neurotropic in it. It looks like Zyn or, tobacco pouch, something like that. Big difference is there is no nicotine in this product, so you are free to go if you are not a fan of that. It's got just the good stuff in there for you, and you're gonna just as well with Liquid IV. You're gonna be able to check out all of their options on their website, NECTR.energy. Promo code MafiaProductions. Get a buy two, get one free over on their website. So we appreciate their support over on the show and all the things that they do for paintball. Let's keep it moving, boys. Last up with us tonight is Welts Clothing, weltsclothing.com. Guys, the boys out of Texas, they did it again. The Welts Clothing custom merchandise drop for the Welts Wednesday that was April. The purple undershirt, I know Brandon copped his. He's a big fan of it. But every first Wednesday of the month, Welts drops something special, something limited edition. It's called Welts Wednesday. And make sure you check out the next one. You aren't going to want to miss out because they do go by pretty fast. I know you had to be on that drop right away, right, Brandon?
Absolutely. I had a timer set. It's just limited.
Welcome to getting paintball merchandise in the year 2025. It goes quick. So head over to weltsclothing.com. Use the promo code FTS. Save yourself some money at checkout. And we appreciate their support over here on the show and for all the great teams in Texas that they help sponsor and support. So, boys, let's move forward. It's officially the time. It's time to announce our guest. One of the biggest guests we've had in a little bit of time. We had one of his booth mates on quite a bit ago. But we're glad to have... guys, let's just get into it. Cash Money, Mr. Todd Martinez. He is here on the show with us tonight. We're excited to get into some things, pick his brain about maybe some of the old days and also what he's doing with the boys over at Aftershock now. So, Todd, how are you doing? How's it going over there tonight?
I'm doing fantastic, man. Props to you guys, 142 shows. Thanks for having me on. It really takes a lot of dedication, hard work to put on these type of shows, especially going for that long. So congrats to you guys, and thank you for having me on as a guest.
Thank you, Todd.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I appreciate it, Todd. You do look like you're being held hostage a little bit right now. Like you got the no art behind you. It's, blink twice if you're okay. I just want to make sure.
Yeah. Well, this is actually live from prison. I had to trade 12 packs of cigarettes to be able to get this hour, to be able to spend with you guys. And I had to do some special favors for the guards. But I'm here, and that's those cigarettes. I didn't really need them anyway.
That's
and
real dedication. I mean, that's
Well,
real dedication. Giving up your valuable currency to spend
Yeah.
time with us over here from the
Yeah, he's talking
sideline.
about our dedication. Look at this guy.
Yeah,
he's really
dedication all around.
He's really getting it.
Let's jump right into it, Todd. Obviously, people, if you're new into paintball, you've been here the last couple of years, they know you as a coach, maybe as, a funny voice who jumps in the booth with Maddie. They may not know that you had a very long and, lustrous playing career before any of that even began. Let's jump back in time a little bit and kind of start, where did it start for you and kind of some of those early days of paintball for Todd, the player, not the coach?
Well, I started playing paintball in 1995. My dad and I used to take, our family used to take a trip out to New Mexico. We have a farm in New Mexico, and would drive out there every summer, stay for a month.
Nice.
And, I heard about paintball. Looked like a fun game I wanted to get into. My dad actually went and watched the NPPL in '94 in San Diego, and thought it would be a fun game to play. And so we went and stopped on the way, got some guns, and went out and played in New Mexico and Albuquerque for the first time, and really got hooked. And back then there was Smart Parts catalogs and paintball newspapers, the PCRI, the old magazines, the APGs, and I would just get everything and consume as much as I possibly could. And it was just seemed like it'd be something that was super fun. And the first day we played, we were hooked, and came back to San Diego, started playing, once a month. And then next thing you know, we're going every weekend. I'm working at the field, get on a kids team, randomly. Then I meet Matt Marshall, Davey Williamson, Dave Hafter, a bunch of dudes from Navarone. And, they kind of take me under their wing after playing with the kids team for a while. And then, they got on the Paraplegic Turtles, introduced me to Dale Price and the crew, started playing NPPL.
One of the best team names. Sorry, just got to throw that in there.
Yeah.
I love that.
Dale Price was the man. He really gave me that shot, but it was Matt Marshall and Davey Williamson, the OGs, that, kind of saw me as a kid and, gave me that tutelage that I needed when I was young to, give me an opportunity to go play, national tournaments and stuff. So, played with the Turtles. My first pro team was the Ironmen in '99. Went from the Ironmen to Avalanche, Avalanche to Aftershock. I played with Strange for a little bit.
Wow.
And started playing with Dynasty. And
just name every great legendary team during the time they were legendary teams. Love that. Quick question, because you said, what was the year you went to see that NPPL event?
94 in San Diego at a field.
That was the first one. Brando, did your dad play in that? Was he still active?
Yes, he was. Yeah, he was still on the Ironman then.
Okay.
Damn.
Yeah. Wow. So that's small ass world.
No
Brando
way.
has royal blood in his veins. I don't know if you know that, Todd.
I remember the
Why, you
name
do
for
this
sure.
every time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah,
I know that.
back in the day, he was someone. Yeah.
You got to tell him the story. He played on the team. Come on, Brando.
He. All right. Fast forward.
Buckle up.
My grandpa heard about the game paintball, right? And they're living in the Bay Area, NorCal, and he wanted to go play with some of his buddies and stuff, but they wanted to bring their families. So my grandpa brought my dad, my grandma, my uncle, whatnot, and everyone's family and stuff. They loved it. Played it for like on and off for a year or so. I was like, hey, let's create a team. There's other teams. Let's play against each other. Created a team with the families, and they're all iron workers, and hence the name Iron Men. Iron Man came aboard, right? It was back in 84, 85. Yeah. And
God damn.
So yeah, my dad played. He left in 95. He left the Ironman in 95. So, he played for a decade, through their whole run and everything, getting Bob Long on and whatnot. So, that's where my blood comes from. Yeah.
I definitely remember your last name. I never got to see him play.
Mm-hmm.
But I definitely remember, I was fortunate enough to get to play with Shane and Marty and Benini and those guys, right? But obviously that was 4 years later. But I definitely remember your dad's name from the magazines.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Machine Gun Mike.
God, I don't know how many of the magazines he still has. But I remember looking through them. I remember going through the garage in all his gear bags, playing with all the the old gear, putting on goggles. Yeah, God, the magazines. He still shows it's like, hey, I was in a magazine once. Yeah. Look at this.
What a flex.
Yeah.
Old timer. I do love too how it's just the small idea of, well, we're all iron workers. Yeah, we're Iron Men. That's the name. And that's such a small decision that has decades of history that is spanned out behind it. It's one of the most infamous team names in paintball. Just its history and legacy throughout many different generations of the game, all the way back from the earliest times of professional paintball.
Yeah, I'm sure I have a bunch of magazines with your dad's picture in it.
That is crazy.
That's cool.
That'd be sick.
My dad saved everything, so I got magazines galore, all stocked away.
That is sick.
Tom Boyer has all that stuff too, right?
Yeah, for sure. Damn, that's cool to hear. Well, yeah. See, all right, Dad.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Someone remembers your name. You're famous, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, every story he told you as a child, sitting around the dinner table just made sense right there. So there you go. Someone actually knew who your dad was. He wasn't lying.
Thanks for validating him, Todd.
I love that. But yeah, so you're playing with all these teams. I mean, you named them: Avalanche, Image, Dynasty, Ironman, amazing teams. One of my questions I wanted to ask you tonight, and it's glad that you brought all them up. What was maybe, it's going to be hard to pick one, but what was that favorite roster to you when you look back? And maybe it's just for the times that you had with friends. Maybe it was the amount of wins you had. When you look back at your playing career, was there a year that stands out of like that roster, that team, man, that was special?
Man, honestly, it's really hard to pick one because every single team I played on had such a big impact on my life, and who I was at the time. And, the reasons why I ended up on that team, were big decisions that I made in my life, and I very easily could have stayed on the Ironman. If I'd have never left the Ironman, then who knows if I would have ever left the Ironman, right?
Been a lifer.
Maybe I wouldn't have left until Oliver left, or who knows, right? Like, this is such a long story because there's so many different ways that this could have gone, but when I made the decision to leave the Ironman to go to Avalanche, it was for, the opportunity to go play more paintball, go to Europe, play alongside Chris Lasoya, John Richardson, the crew. Every single guy on that team, really meant a lot to me, So being able to learn, being a younger guy, a super nerdy kid, and, to be able to play with the OG Ironmen like Marty, Shane, Benini, Brohim, all those guys, and then go to Avalanche with Chris, Rab, Travis, LB, John, Rocky, and then go play with Aftershock and actually get to play with Billy, Bruno, Poop. The reason why I'm here on Aftershock now.
I'm doing the same thing, Brando. Just like the list of names. It's insane.
Just getting to play on the same team with those guys was nuts. Like Ronnie, Rollin, Richie Malachewski's in my top 5 of all-time players. Like, that dude was just insane, right? Like, and then, to play with Dynasty and all the guys that, while I'm playing with these other teams, it's me and those guys, and we're playing every weekend, right? We're playing both days every weekend. We're playing Wednesday nights, Thursday nights, whenever we can. And, the history that I had with those other teams is kind of like what kept me from, being on Dynasty from, like more of the beginning, like that coming in late, right? But because I had that, that earlier jump, because of Maddie and Davey, Micah bringing me along, with the Ironmen, right? So, I really got the best of it all. I made lifelong friends. Really had people take me under their wing and teach me how to be a professional, teach me how to be a better player. Rich Telford and I got on the Ironman. Our first tournament on the Ironman was the same event, right? Boston 99, wow. Right? It was my first pro tournament, Rich's first tournament with the Ironman. And, I just share so many valuable bonds in my life with so many guys that were just like, on that Hall of Icons list, it's just so cool. I get to, have special relationships with all those guys that have all looked out for me, as a young kid growing up and, all through my life. I'll be 45 this month. So
Don't say that, Todd, because I remember you being the 20-year-old dude I looked up to as a kid. Like, man, oh wow, they're so cool. Oh God, we're all getting old. Jesus,
I feel that, Todd, because I actually found a picture of myself playing like one of the OG CPLs, like the stuff that I ref now. And it's like me getting like first place, and I'm kissing this little itty bitty trophy because Capital Edge was small at the time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right. And just seeing like just how far the game has come now, I can't even imagine the vast knowledge of what you've seen throughout the game. Right? Because I started in like 2014. Yeah. That was when the PSP was starting to fold and everything went. But you got to see everything from like 1995. You said.
Yeah, I mean, I was there for my first gun was a pump gun. From pump guns to autocockers. Like my first pro tournament, I played with an autococker. Yeah. Right.
That is so awesome.
Like we're playing.
Those were the shit. That was like, this is the space age gun.
Yeah, it was just the not many people had Angels, right? Angels had just come around, and then we played before. I mean, even when I played with Aftershock at 2002 World Cup, people were still shooting autocockers, right? Mm-hmm. So I don't know.
They were great guns. They freaking worked.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, every evolution of the game, that we've seen here, from 10-man, from mechanical to 10-man, X-ball, 7-man, full auto, 15 balls a second, uncapped, 25-minute halves. Like, I've seen it all, right?
And you know what's funny to me? Throughout all that, all the different types of paintball I've played, some scenarios, some, kind of backyard stuff in the woods, some, more of the tournament sides, there's something about an EMEC that still is the most fun. Like, there's something about that simple mechanical shot, and that's probably why Cockers just lasted forever, because it's so satisfying. It feels good to, when you get on the trigger and you start to see that stream fly. And yeah, I understand, you can't shoot those at 10.5 reliably, so you need an electronic board, but there's just something so satisfying about a very, nice souped up EMEC.
Yeah, I mean, a dialed-in autococker back in the day, it was like rocket science trying to get your autococker to shoot great. There were guys that were just magicians. Danny Love being one of them.
I was just about to say, yep.
Sales guys with the Evolutions and the Predators, which were my favorite guns of all time. I mean, like, to get those guns shooting good, but when you had a gun that shot good, and they all shot different, right? The lockout guns shot different than the Shock Tech guns, shot different than the Bell Sales guns. Like, autocockers, I swear, were then maybe it was the paint at the time too, but the shot, the feeling when you hit somebody with an autococker from a mile away was very satisfying.
That is amazing. Because when I was like 15 getting into the game, I remember going to play local with Rec Ball, and there was this guy who wore like all red Angel gear. I don't remember his name, but all red, normal. And I'm like, holy shit, this guy's a pro. As every noob says when they see a guy wearing a jersey, and he's like, yeah, back in my day, would have ran your shit with this Angel. And I'm like, oh man, dude, I'm just sitting there with my little proto that's like a piece of shit that my mom bought me, and I'm so grateful for it because I'm, just scalping everybody with it. But dude, the game has, from when I started, with guys flexing on me with like their Angels, right? Because that was 2014. That's like way past technology, you know what I'm saying? Like 2014 with Angels. So what is your favorite marker of all time?
I would say the SFT shocker that I had that I call Ladanian. I mean, that thing was insane. You know what I mean? Hi, baby.
That's your favorite one of all time?
He's getting interrupted,
Yeah. Sorry,
he's got some important people at the house. Yeah, he's got some kids,
Family man, dude, I respect it.
She's got no shirt on. She's just running here.
Oh, gosh.
You need to go have mommy put your shirt on. We're on TV. Right,
this is what he deals with, ladies and gentlemen. All right?
Hold on.
I tell my grandma that we're on TV too, bro. I'm like,
yeah, there you go.
So,
hey, you can be a pro paintball coach, but your daughter still comes first. All right,
dude, professional dad.
I would bring her in here, but she's butt naked. You know what I mean?
Fine, YouTube wouldn't like that anyways. We're good.
I don't want to do that.
But so your SFT shock is what we were talking about. Your marker.
I still have that one. Like, that one shot so straight, so consistent, never broke paint. You know, that was probably the best shooting gun I had ever. And then maybe next to that would be the other Dynasty Shocker that I had, where I had a Techno trigger, like a custom trigger put in that thing. You know, that I mean, that gun just shot amazing, right? But you know, I've shot. You know, it went from cockers. You know, my Shock Tech Intimidator was amazing as well. I got like 15 pods, you know, off of 88, 45, shot super straight. You know,
cheating board in.
I really always had the best guns. You know, oh yeah, just insane.
Bob logs were insane back in the day. It wasn't even like that's not just Todd choosing to do that. No, they all pretty much had cheating boards from the factory. Like it was.
Yeah, everybody had turbo modes.
That is so crazy because it's like that was that's like so before my time. So can you walk me through like what were some of the benefits that those boards would give you? I don't understand it.
Well, because fire rate wasn't capped.
Huh?
Well, because fire rate wasn't capped. Like in the MPPL, you had semi-uncapped, and then I think like was it ramping full auto in the NXL? I know it was something crazy like that. But in some of these leagues, you know, if you could shoot faster, that could help you out, and there wasn't a penalty like in today's NXL where we all instantly know you're shooting faster than 10.5.
The ability of the guns back in the day is the reason why we're shooting capped guns now, right? Because it just came to a point where, you know, Bob Long was the first one, right? The Bob Long Intimidators, you know, in 2003, they annihilated everybody, right? Because some guys are playing NXL with autocockers, some guys are playing with, you know, just stuff that can't compare to an Intimidator with a Halo that's feeding 25 balls a second, right?
Yeah. With the IntelliFeed, so it's talking to the gun, and it's just,
It's nuts,
what?
Right? I mean, a Halo and an Intimidator on D-Bounce 1, you know, it was just a wall of paint, right? You couldn't stop it.
Yeah.
You know, and then it was the half.
There's a reason everyone shot one.
Yeah. It was, you know, some people got them, some people didn't. And the Intimidator was like that straight out of the box, right? You just push the button, put on a Halo, and, you know, they juice the Halos. And they would just shoot a million miles an hour. So, you know, when it came to, you know, some people had them, some people didn't. You know, like the way that the guns shot, like not all guns could shoot that fast, right? Not all of them had the, you know, I'm not a electric engineer over here. I don't know how all the shit works, but like some of the guns you just couldn't shoot fast, right? You know, so you compensate with the boards, and you know, you'd have, you know, modes where you could, you know, shoot full auto. You know, basically just do like NXL mode where you pull 3 and it maintains 10, you know, whatever it is, right? So, you know, people started getting all those, and, you know, it just came to a point where it's like, all right, if this is what we're going to do, then we're just going to cap it, right? Then I think that's when somebody had the brilliant idea to make it just full auto everywhere, 15 balls a second. You know, so people are just like, you know, running to the corner with the gun in the air, just painting the parking lot, you know, just doing dumb shit.
Yeah, just
that's
that'd be
like, all right, you know, maybe
ridiculous.
15 full auto is not a good idea. You know, we'll just go 15. Maybe we'll go 13-3. You know, people are still getting blown out of their boots. There's brawls. People are going crazy. Let's try 12-5, right? You know, still too fast. We got to slow this down, add more bunkers. The fat guys can't play.
Hey,
you know,
12.5 worked pretty good for a while.
Yeah, it worked all right, you know, but...
And then the
Like,
NXL had to bring it down.
Yeah, when you go to, people were going to Canada to play the 15 CXBL, and you know, it was just insane how you go back to that, especially for the people that had never played it before. But
CXBL used to be traditional X ball too, right?
Two halves, right?
Yeah, they were just fucking wallopings up there. You just see some of the videos, and it's just, God, it's brutal.
Yeah, we also
That
shoot a
was
pallet of paint every game, right? Every time, right?
Jesus.
They're when they're designing the field, they're like, all right, let's get one where we're just, you know, large gaps. They're shooting 15. Let's make it harder for them. Let's make it harder for them to get out. So,
and what's crazy, people still are making it to the snake. Like, it is crazy to see with some of the older school layouts, you know, in the mid 2000s, like just how wide open some of these lanes are, and guys are just still flowing through, and you know, you see the paint go everywhere but on the player itself, and it's like, man, is that bore sizing? Is that paint manufacturing? Is it skill? Like, there's a lot of variables, but the game has tightened up an insane amount since back then.
Yeah, I mean, the guns were insane, dude. There's no, I mean, 20 balls a second. You think 15's fast? Shoot a gun at 18, 20 balls a second.
That sounds sick.
From 150 feet away. You ain't getting
God damn. That is so sick. Because I mean, my very first tournament, it was in PPL semi 15, and I was like, this shit is fast, you know. And then I'm like, shooting fast with my right hand and my left hand. I'm like, doing nothing like the little 15-year-old that I was. But man, dude, that is so sick. Because I've heard with markers there have been a magnetic glove. Is that true? There's been like a magnet in a glove.
I don't think
when you grab your marker.
Yeah, no, I mean, you just push the button, and me and Oliver used to call it Missy Elliott mode, you know what I mean? 'Cause you start pulling the trigger, and it would just be like, what's ta-ta, what's ta-ta-ta-ta? And then everybody died. So.
Yeah, no, I like the reference. Or like, there'd be a certain button sequence, because I've talked to Terry Fong about it a little bit, one of Bob's old techs, and there was like a certain button sequence, and then it would put it into like breakout mode where it just would rip 20 balls full auto for the first 10 seconds of the game, and then it would go back to whatever like the legal mode is, so that way, if you get chronoed off or something, it'd be harder to tell.
Yeah, wow. That happens. That exists.
That happens, yeah. All right, there you go.
That is so sick. Oh
yeah, man. God. Well, talking about the plane a little bit, I know we don't have all that much time tonight, so I want to touch base on this too. Another big part of the Todd Martinez story in paintball is one of content creation. Obviously people have seen you in the booth being kind of a color commentary foil to Maddie's play-by-play. But if you step back further in time with a little brand called Dirter, who made some awesome videos back in the day, you and Nikki Cuba and a couple other greats from back in the day lent your voice to some of the funniest videos that paintball has ever seen with a little series called Short Bus. I've wanted to talk to you about this show since I watched it when I was 11 years old. How did that come together? You got your sealed copy?
Look what I got.
Yep.
Yep. You know what I'm saying?
I won't be outdone. All right, we got
this was like one of my
show.
This was like one of my favorite things, like watching when I was like a kid. My local paintball store was like getting rid of it, and I'm like, bro, what the hell? Give me that. And they're like $15, and I was like, all right.
Yeah.
That's worth it for sure. But yeah, so Short Bus. How does that even come to be? Where does the idea of let's just make fun of people being bad at paintball come from?
So Dirter Rob Astamendi, he wanted to make paintball videos. He played paintball back in the day, and he wanted to make paintball videos. Making videos was his passion. It's his career. He makes shitloads of money now doing other non-paintball stuff, right? Editing and
as most the creatives in paintball have done now.
You film enough paintball, you catch all those highlights or lowlights, right? And he just after just sorting through all the footage, put the reel together. And Rob's got the best sense of humor. Like a lot of the stuff, a lot of the jokes, some of that stuff just straight from Rob, like, hey, what do you think about this, right? And, it was so much fun, because we would just go and sit there and, we'd be like, hey, the video's about to come out, I got the reel together, come over to the house, right? So we go over there and, just sat down one time and just ran through it a couple times and just basically just talked shit about these clips and, just had a good time with it, right? And then, next thing you know, we're bringing, a couple different people on and, we had some guest appearances and, I started going to the dollar store and buying props on the way in, not knowing how they're going to work or what they're going to do, if they're even going to make sense, just do dumb shit. And, it was just a really good time. Anytime he made a video and we were going to get a chance to do the Short Bus clips, because it was literally just sit down, turn on the camera, and we'd watch the clips and just start talking shit. It was so much fun, but I'd probably get canceled for half the shit I said. Back in the day.
Nowadays, yeah.
Whatever, dude.
All right, it's okay.
One of my favorite ones, I remember it because it was so funny because when I found out that we were gonna have you on, I told my girlfriend immediately. I'm like, dude, let me tell you, we got Todd on. Let me show you this shit. So I showed her some Short Bus clips, right? And one of my favorite ones, because I used to be coached by this guy, but Scott Kemp. Every time he was on the Short Bus, you were just flexing so hard, doing push-ups and stuff. Because that's exactly what Scott Kemp was.
Look at Kemp's Instagram today. He's still doing that.
He is a unit. So I just thought that one was just so funny back in the day.
Yeah, he got real big there from it when he did that bulking season.
Yeah.
He was enormous.
Dude, he's one of my favorite Instagram accounts to follow and feel bad about myself. God damn, I suck.
Still one of the nicest dudes, funniest dudes. I love that guy.
Of course he is. Yeah, like it is funny how that usually coincides. But yeah, so the short bus stuff, there was some other stuff you were doing with Dirter, and I'm guessing it was just similar. Like you were just kind of you were in San Diego at the time, and so it was just someone got an idea for a video. Let's shoot a video about 500 caliber paintballs. Like this is that simple.
That was amazing.
I don't know. I made some pretty stupid videos back in the day. It was when 50 cal came out, right? And everybody's just like, oh, you know, they had a big booth at one of the events, and it's like, no, this is the future right here. Fuck 68 cal. We're going to make tiny little paintballs. Everybody's going to love it. It's going to be exactly the same, but smaller, less, you know, tiny. You know, it's going to hurt, not going to hurt. You know, maybe it will, maybe it won't. People are going to love it. They're going to make itty bitty little guns and shit, you know? And so I was like, you know what? They're right. But we should go the other way. 250 cal. Ass motherfucking paintballs. We'll blow people's brains out. You know, where you just tell Rob something like that, and Rob goes, okay, you know what I mean? And then next thing you know, he's just like, all right, here we go. And then we start making stupid videos. So.
Here's this like upside down 5-gallon bucket you're gonna hold attached to a marker. Yeah. That video, if you haven't watched it, audience, go check it out. I wonder if it's
dude. The production value
I've
was
seen
good
it before, so I know it's out there on the internet. You just gotta find it a little bit.
Yeah, 250 cal. The funny thing was, like with a lot of that stuff was, you know, Rob would get like a new graphics kit or, you know, graphics pack for his computer, and he'd be like, hey, I can make these explosions, like that one, the Bring Out Your Dead with all the explosions and shit. Like, check this out. You know, just people are just blowing up. You know, his kid's got a little pistol and, you know, and is shooting people, and it's just like, dude, this is all right. What can we do with this? You know, what kind of dumb shit can we make with this video or with this graphic, right? And so, you know,
it's funny that like, you know, watching it as a kid, you're like, how did they come up with this? This is crazy. But now that you say that, well, that's just my creative process right now. Like, yeah, you just sit there and kind of tool around and like, oh, that's an idea. Let's write that down. Let's expand on that. Oh, I've got a new editing package I can use. Like, it's kind of funny to hear that. It really, when you see how the sausage is made, it's pretty simple. It's a lot of just, you know, creative thought and kind of putting your head to an idea.
Yeah, I mean, we made a music video. We made, you know, a stop motion animation video with Jason Edwards, Nikki Cuba.
Oh, I remember that.
There are some really stupid ones.
I love the production on the 250 cal where it was like you like shoot him and then like it was like Saving Private Ryan where someone's fucking head would blow off, and I'm like, damn.
Yeah. Everything was extremely high budget, right? You know, like every video we made, we probably poured at least like 50 to 100 million into every video. You know,
yeah,
so
people had money back then.
Limited budget, you know.
Yeah, so that's where it all went. We didn't put any back to the sport. All right, love to hear it. That's great.
It went all in the DVDs. We invested in DVD heavily.
DVDs, you know, sold 800,000 million copies. You know, and just blew all that money on.
Still got one right here, but
yeah. Now all of a sudden, this thing called Blu-ray came out. We're like, oh shit, you know.
Oh no, so, digital streaming never did. But Todd, let's step forward a little bit more, because on the other side of content, not just making haha videos. As I mentioned earlier, you've spent quite a lot of time in the in the play-by-play booth, up there with either Maddie or some other faces. When did that start for you, and kind of what was the like? I want to try this out. I want to jump up there and throw a headset on and see if I can talk about the game.
Well, I was actually on it from the very beginning. Maddie had the vision for the show, Paintball Access, and he was working with Dye at the time, and I can't remember the story exactly, so I don't want to butcher it. But he basically told Dave Youngblood, put your money where your mouth is, and let's really do this show for real, right? And Dave dropped $1 million on Paintball Access. We set up a studio at Dye. I think we shot like 55, 60 studio shows. Maddie, as he still does today, created all the content. So it was Maddie and I, and then we had other guests come in all the time. Scott Kemp, definitely, Brian Greenspan. Other guys from around San Diego would stop by. We do in-studio shows. We had a nice studio booth there. Darren Cesania, the Iceman, that still runs Go Sports.
Yeah, Darren's a go.
Guy that, basically audio, video, producer, editor, anything and everything, for the show. He was the media guy for Die. He set up everything. That's why we call him the Iceman, because there wasn't anything that he couldn't do. He did everything. And then we also
and just to cut in, he still does that to this day, running behind the scenes of MLPB Plus. If you guys don't know the name of Darren, how do you say his last name? Cessna, something along those lines. Sorry, buddy. But I do want to say, a guy who does not get nearly enough credit in the sport of paintball, and his name needs to be said more, because just the amount of hours he's put into making sure you get to watch it on your phone or your computer or wherever from the middle of a field in Pennsylvania is insane. So shout out to him.
Yeah. So, I mean, we did the show, the webcast, for years, and I was with them all the way up.
Sorry to interrupt again, but you guys, one of the best World Cup finals was, on Paintball Access on the
so many good moments.
Finisher, the Challengers final. Still one of the greatest paintball games ever, ever broadcasted. Infamous versus Dynasty. But that's kind of the things that I think about when I think of paintball broadcasting is Paintball Access, and you guys up in the booth, Lauren down in the pits doing interviews, the old walls behind each of the start boxes. Like, that was my real generation of coming in and absorbing and loving paintball, and so it is kind of cool to hear that almost didn't exist, something like that, until someone finally was like, hey, make the call, put your money where your mouth is, and let's try to actually grow the sport.
Yeah, and obviously we had Chris Lasoya up there with us. Forever. He was always a blast to be around, still is, right? Another guy that took me under his wing when I was a kid, up my game a little
Wild
bit
mentor.
There, Yeah.
Good mentor.
Okay. But, it was Maddie's vision, Darren helped bring it to life. Dave funded the whole deal, and, I was with the show all the way up until the beginning of 2020. So, I jump up there every now and then when I can. When I was on Heat, they didn't want me to do the show. They wanted me to focus on the team, so I didn't do it when I was on Heat from 21, 22, 23, right? So
yeah, we missed you.
Whenever I can, but
definitely was noticed.
I definitely, I don't watch the broadcast as much as I did when I was just a fan and not attending events, but it was noticeable. Like, it definitely, there's always this charisma that you and Maddie and Rich would have it too, but just because of how long time friends you guys are, that it's just a chemistry it's hard for anyone else to replicate it, because they haven't been together for the last 25 years with each other.
Well, Maddie has a high standard for professionalism when it comes to the show, right? Because for the show to be able to be successful, there has to be a standard of other shows, right? Other broadcasts. And I'm a big fan of, sports talk radio. I listen to, probably 3, 4, 5 hours of sports talk radio every day, sports TV.
Long time, first time.
But like, try and take stuff from like other industries, other media, and, try and apply that to our game to make it better. And, this was Maddie's, vision from the beginning, and, trying to have like a high standard of professionalism for the show, so that we can get paintball to where, everybody wants to see it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, a quote from Matty Marshall that stuck with me is, like, people don't just wake up and give a shit about paintball. Like, you have to make them give a shit about paintball. And that's one quote that when we had him on here and he said that one stuck with me. And no joke, every time I'm making a post, I'm like, all right, I like, when it comes to paintball, I'm like trying to make people give a shit.
Yep.
So Matty Marshall is an incredible person.
Yeah, there's the 5 fingers that make the fist that punches you in the face. Yeah,
Dude, he's got 40 different sayings that we could quote off right now. That's the greatness of Maddie, is the quote machine that he
hero,
is. Yeah, die on your shield. Fucking. It is funny to think of, when other sports, talk about their announcer who, like, he made lingo for the game, or he got, this done. Really, for us, that is Maddie. Some of the terminology and stuff that we just, use from time to time really was kind of brought into it by him saying it in the booth and kind of having people repeat it, and it get, kind of stuck into the terminology that paintball players use. So definitely, another man who, credit cannot be given enough to what he's done for the sport. And definitely the platform he gave you at that same time was awesome, because I think you flourished there, and I think a lot of people saw, okay, there's the intense Todd Martinez, who is a pretty damn good paintball player, but then there's also this really funny dude who can crack a joke and has no problem, making kind of light of himself, to make light of a situation. So, yeah, no, I know I appreciated it as a teen back home getting into paintball, because hell, I probably wouldn't be here if it wasn't for those type of content, things that you guys did back in the day.
Awesome, man. Appreciate that. Thank you.
Definitely. I think one of what inspired me the most when you were a coach was when you coached Vicious. That was they weren't, a top caliber team. And I mean, they got second place at that Dallas event, right? But up until then, they were like middle of the road, but you were always on them. And it was just so great to see, because that was the kind of coaching that I always wanted. You and Mike Himman had that style.
So, as much as I say the teams that I played with, and all the players, I played professional paintball for 10 years, and now I'm going on my 15th year of coaching, right?
Wow.
Been in paintball for 30 years.
I was going to get to that.
So much more different lessons from coaching, as I did from playing, right? The age I was, in my 20s, when I stopped playing, to, in my 30s and now 40s. And I'll make you feel old here. I've won a tournament in 4 different decades, right? But I have, got to learn so much, from coaching, because the first team I coached was Infamous, and then I coached Vicious for those couple years, and then on to the Ironman Heat, Aftershock, and I also coached Breakout in Europe for 4 years. But every situation was different, right? When you're a coach and you're trying to manage the culture and the personalities and the players, and are they young guys, are they old guys, what's ownership like, and having to take all that stuff and try and put it together and be successful. You learn so much from that stuff, right? So it's been a great, very valuable learning lesson for me, for my life, and for who I am, being able to coach for so long too.
Now, with all that experience, right? It as you said, you learn how to take bits and pieces from every team and every organization. Have you brought that all together and made a somewhat like a philosophy on how to build team chemistry or
Can I buy your course? That's what he's asking. Do you have a 2-week online course, the 20-day simple to success, how to earn a pro spot?
Sign up regiment.
Yeah, I don't know. I got asked to do a coaching clinic for the Boston Combine one year, and I wrote out this big pamphlet on coaching and stuff like that, and then they never asked me back. So maybe it sucked, Combine, but. Yeah, I have a pamphlet that I make. I have notes in my phone, that are just coaching lessons learned, from over the years. Probably need to update it a little bit, but I mean, it's all. The game is to be told, right? I'm more than happy to share anything and everything about my experiences, from coaching, for you guys or.
Yeah, no, I'm one of the things I wanted to get to is kind of your new position. You got him on your chest today. You showed up with the team Brandon on. We love that. New coach of Aftershock, second season with them. You as you mentioned, you were with Heat previously, the last couple seasons before this. When you come into a new organization, different ownership, different players. How difficult is it to, especially as a coach, someone who needs to lead that organization, how difficult is it to, come in there and not only gain the respect, but be able to, work with new personalities, new individuals? Everyone is going to need stuff told to them a certain way, or, they may get things, a different coaching style. So, when you come into a new team like that, what is kind of that learning curve of getting you, up to speed with them?
Well, the best thing about Aftershock was that essentially I got to handpick my team, right? So there wasn't on every other team. I didn't have that opportunity, right? Well, I guess on the Ironman I did, but with this team I really got to pick everybody that I wanted to have on the team. So, and now we're in our second year. I picked up 4 new guys. We lost a couple guys, and I just get to Todd Adamson really gives me all the freedom, to pick who I want, to run things how I want, because we have that relationship from Aftershock back in the day, and I understand what the culture of Aftershock is like. I understand the history, the mentality, the type of expectations that a successful team has. So I'm very fortunate with Todd to be able to kind of do whatever I want, pick who I want, and I got every single guy that I have a great relationship with, guys that I believe are top tier caliber players that I trust, and we have great communication. And we got off to a slow start this first event. Same thing happened last year. We just didn't practice enough, going into the first event. But I fully expect us to ramp it up here, to start going through the rest of the year. But Brandon, did I answer your question? Did you ask me?
Not necessarily, but
I mean, I guess creating that culture, is like what's most important, above all things, to have expectations and have good, clear communication with the players and management, and being a professional for your sponsors, right? Does that make sense?
yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, it's interesting too, because a lot of our audience, if they're not the ones who do play paintball, they're paintball players. There's not very many coaches who listen to the show. There's not very many paintball coaches just in general. So it is always interesting to hear kind of the perspective of that, because like you just mentioned there, you have so many different people that you have to kind of be working directly with, not just ownership, but players themselves, working little things like pit, managing that and making sure you actually have staff to, run those things. There's just a lot that goes into the job that I think a lot of players don't ever really think of. And that's almost by design, because a good coach handles those things for them.
Yeah, I mean, I can't control your effort and your attitude, but the culture is that combination of our expectations, our understanding of the mentality, and who we want to be, how we're going to act, what's our standard for professionalism, and all that sort of stuff. So. You kind of lay it out from the beginning. Like if you have a bunch of guys that you're bringing in new, right? That aren't, maybe haven't been on a team like that before. Maybe haven't had, like older mentorship. Like to try and explain like what it takes to be a winning team, to be a winning teammate, and to be a winning organization. Because we can have all the great players, we can have great coaches, great staff, but like, did our flights get booked? Is that a shit show?
Yeah.
Can we make sure that we have hotels, trying to coordinate getting 20 people to dinner, like all those things that like can be distractions, if they're not handled right, not done right, and you really, I learned from the very beginning with Avalanche, Ed, when people weren't really fully taken care of, right? Some people still paid for their own flights or rooms or paint, or even like Ed really made sure that the team was fully taken care of. We didn't have to worry about batteries and waters and all that sort of stuff. So again, I've been very fortunate from the very beginning to see how much all the little details matter.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and there's 1,000 coaching cliches about it. Think of anyone you want, but I think the reason why all of them are made, because it is simple. Just there's something that having an attitude and wanting something really hard and working towards it will get you there. Just look at Paintball Fit. I mean, if you need more evidence, they just did it twice in a row. And they're not, they're not special. They're not superhuman or anything. They didn't even have the heart of
their team for the most recent one.
Yeah, but what they do is they show up every single weekend and they play paintball and they actively enjoy it and they love it, and the proof is starting to show of what happens when you just dedicate a lot of yourself to something, whether it be paintball or hell, anything you want in your life.
100%, man, and that's why I am so happy to see these guys win. Because they're just proving it, right? They just prove that the dedication to excellence, the commitment to playing, together, their culture, who they are, like fully embracing everything that they put out there. It's real, it's genuine, and they put in the time, right? And like to see a team like that win, like it makes you hopeful for the future of paintball, right? Because it just goes to show that anybody can be beat, anybody can rise to the top. I'm sure like those guys, and it's more than just like these two events, right? They came on as AC Dallas, got the shit kicked out of them, went back down to semi-pro, won every single event, and now they're back up here with all the confidence in the world. This didn't just happen yesterday. They didn't just start practicing
No, it was
3 days a week.
3-year long story, 4 if you include the AC Dallas year. Like,
yeah, like it's a long process, right? It's a long time coming for these guys, and they're not surprised. They know they're the only ones that really know how much time and effort that they really put into this.
And let's take it back in time historically. When you guys were, when Paintball Mecca was in San Diego and everyone was shooting pallets every weekend for a practice, you guys were also pretty all damn good at paintball. Like it's funny that throughout the generations we've seen these examples of okay, if you do something, if you're really good at it, if you dedicate a lot of time to it as well, this will happen to you. And then that's, I think, one of the beautiful things and why so many people do like seeing Fit win is it's just showing that no, the dragon isn't immortal. These guys who've been here forever, they're not immortal. It's just they've played way more than a lot of people. And so if you're not putting in that practice and getting to a point that they're at and then getting past it, they can sit back on their laurels until someone, pushes them off their throne a little bit.
Yeah. And props to Dynasty too. Like Ryan Greenspan's 40, right? And look how much he still practices.
It's a father of 3.
He still goes out and practices all the time, right?
And that's
kids, like I'll give you one right now that I heard Colin Cowherd say. He's one of my favorite guys to watch on TV. Right? The older you get, the less you prepare, the worse you are in crisis. Right? Like when these dudes get older and older, you have to keep practicing. He was talking about Aaron Rodgers, right? Like, is he actually out there still putting in the work? Because everybody's looking for an edge, right? What can you do? What more can you do to create that edge to give you over somebody to be successful when the chips are down, right? Like, is it going to the gym? When I was a kid, I was smaller than everybody else. I had red hair. I was goofy as shit, but my dad got me into soccer, and I played soccer for 15 years, and he was always just like, have better endurance than everybody else, be able to go longer than everybody else, right? And that's the one thing I knew. I could focus on that. I could keep running, I could keep going, and just mentally train myself and physically train myself to be able to be fresh when everybody else is tired, and it's just like those guys, more snap shooting, more game time, more time behind their gun, more everything. Right? Those guys have created that edge that has allowed them to win 2 tournaments in a row, going through the murderer's row of professional paintball teams and walking out on top where it didn't even look like they were phased. Right?
Yeah. No, it looks like they were prepared. Like it was, this was the plan. Like this was not a shock to us. We were ready to do this.
With all the talk with Colt getting hurt, everybody thought that, PB Fit's done. PB Fit's done, but now look at them without the heart of their team. I mean, he's still in the pits, right? He's still doing his job as a teammate to the best of his ability with a bum knee, right? So he's still there, but he's not on the field.
One of the things I wanted to bring up too is you talk about Dynasty. I also during this offseason, looking at social media, I feel like I saw Yosh, Alex, and Ryan out of field more than I have in the past couple off seasons. And I think that's a credit to, there's a reason why those guys were on top, is because that competitor is inside them. And all right, damn, the young kids just kicked us in our mouth. I don't fucking like that. Let's go out and, practice and show them why we were the best of the best at one point in time. And, some consider us still today. So I everything that came from that finals of, the kind of quote unquote old men, kind of having their return to glory stopped short by the young kids. Like, however you want to write the story, I think it was very good for paintball because it proved a lot of things were possible, but it also proved that there is a youth generation coming up into this game, just like when you guys started coming into this game. It was a lot of old dudes in the woods who needed fast young guys to go run far for them. And, now us 20-year-olds, we're starting to finally replace you guys and do the same thing, unfortunately.
Yeah, and that's great. That's what we need, right? I run
It's bittersweet, I guess. That's a better way to put it.
Yeah, I run a field on the weekends, giant paintball in Lakeside, it's SC Village, San Diego, essentially. And the other day, there's a motocross track across the way, right? About 20 little 9 to 11-year-olds came up from the motocross track and with 50 cal guns there, just running at each other, blasting the shit out of each other. It was the greatest thing I ever seen, You see like a lot of people get into paintball and they're like, oh, God, does it hurt? These kids were like, give me the gun, run at each other, smash each other, get shot, maybe cry a little bit, be like, toughen up, like, just hope for the future generations of kids, to play paintball and play it the way that we love to play it, right?
Yeah, there's a couple examples down here in Texas that I know of, but like there's youths who are playing this game and they're getting pretty damn good for still being kids. So it is inspiring to see. Paintball's got a road ahead of it. It's always something that's been on the fringe and had to fight for its life, but it does seem that where we're at currently in the 2020s is maybe one of the better places it's been since kind of the end of the 2000s, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, it's just we just have to keep putting in the time,
Yeah.
Keep putting in the time, keep believing, keep trying
How
to pass
damn
on
old is
information.
baseball? Like, I mean, like you said, 4 decades. Yeah, that sounds like a lot of time, but in the grand scheme of life, like it's not, unfortunately. And unfortunately, you do have your Babe Ruths, your players who are the best of their era, but they aren't able to fully see what could eventually be at the end when it's reached full popularity or everything that's come in. So it's good. As someone who's been interested in paintball since like 2012 and started filming in like 2017 World Cup was bleak. I loved it. I got to film Thomas Kim and the boys winning their pro spot. That was awesome, but it was a small event. It's already since then definitely grown back inside, and we've seen more of just that kind of energy return to events around the NXL schedule. So yeah, for me, it's positives moving forward, and it's not all doom and gloom. Tom is trying. All right, we give him credit when he does good things, and we do call him out when he does bad things. That's our policy here on the show.
And he's good about it. They even got merch with the internet score, with Elite Pro. They made merch with
respect.
That. They know what's
right.
up. They knew what they were doing.
Fair meme.
What were you saying, Todd? I'm sorry.
Oh no, I said yeah, Tom.
Oh yeah, no. But yeah, brother. So man, we're getting to our time with you tonight. I don't know how much longer you have in case you're running out the room or anything like that. I would say one more kind of question for you tonight, and maybe you can answer this and take the time you need. Obviously, you've been in paintball for the longest amount of time of anyone in this call currently. You've been a player, you've been a coach, you've been broadcast talent, you've been, all different sides of it. What would you say from, your history of being in the game is the things that you've seen changed in paintball recently for the better, and maybe things that you wish would either maybe come back or things that you think maybe we were doing better at some point in the past, if an example like that comes up.
Mm-hmm.
For the better, I would say, kind of like what we just talked about, right? With a team like Paintball Fit winning events, showing that it's not just about, can you spend the most money and buy, the best players, it's showing that, just putting in time to being better and, caring more and having a team that is a real team that really cares about each other genuinely, that's willing to make sacrifices for each other can be successful. The game has kind of been similar, for a while now. We haven't really, since the NXL took over from Paintball, what was it, PSP? That was
and even then, the PSP game wasn't all that different.
Like, pretty much the same, right? So we haven't really changed. I know that, Tom is kind of a big advocate for that. There really was no better game than NFL football paintball, where you score touchdowns and then you score field goals.
Field goal, halfway down the field.
That was the best game ever, that didn't last. But, I know that Tom's always trying to talk about, like, well, how can we change the game, I do really like, having known Oliver for, 25, 26 years now, like his belief in the Hormesis Elite one-on-one duel. At first, I was like, man, I don't really like this format, and then I was like, well, people want to play it. I'm going to start setting it up, we'll see, and he obviously put a lot of time and thought and care and energy into it. And, now after I would set them up and run the events, at SC Village, people really enjoyed it. People that had never played that format before, at the end of the day, were walking away being like, wow, that was a lot of fun. That was exhausting. I didn't realize what that was really like. And, Oliver kind of designed the game to be like you're playing X-Ball, but it's just you, right? Mm-hmm. And to see him really believe in the format in this game, with the purpose of making it to where it's just you, not just because it's a one-on-one, but that you're the center of your success, right? That you are like a skater, it's up to you to nail the trick, right? Yep. It's on you. It's not anybody else, all the attention, the focus, it's on you. It'll be easier to follow.
I was going to say the biggest parallel to me with his format is UFC. It reminds me so much of that, even down to the alleyway of having a spot on the field where players get to be able to look at the other side that's not blocked and see their opponent. There is something that's kind of barbaric about that, two humans still, of two men entering a ring to fight each other. And I think to me, that's something that when I first saw, I think Nick and Oliver did kind of an exhibition type game, and they posted the YouTube of it. That was what I got from it, is oh, this feels like I'm watching a heavyweight title fight right now, the back and forth action, the intense cardio that is going on. Because playing that format, you've got to be fucking on your P's and Q's, because it'll put you on your ass if you're not. I do love what he's doing with the Hormesis one-on-one format. I think that is a bright spot in the paintball culture right now.
Yeah, and it's very young, right?
Mm-hmm.
Very, very young.
The format's very young. They spent a lot of time, effort, money into building it up. The finale is coming up next month in Alabama. Going to be a big production. Oliver's really pouring a lot of energy into it. But I just feel we really have to embrace. Maddie always talks about the heroes, right? The Colt Luckows, the Chavis, right? All the guys that have always, put in that time,
the Thomas Kims. I don't know the last time I saw that dude lose a 2-on-1. It's fucking ridiculous.
You're right. But all the characters, all the personalities that make this sport what it is, right? I feel Oliver's format really, the whole purpose behind it is to really promote, the same way that Maddie always talks about, we need to promote, these heroes and these stories and have that ongoing narrative. You know what I mean? For you guys to be on your 142nd show, you guys obviously give a shit other than just being completely, awesome, handsome guys, on TV.
Well, thanks, Todd. Appreciate that.
Be able to, continue to talk about our sport, and keep the conversation going and, bring old, beat up idiots like me on the show to be able to tell stupid stories about dumb videos we made back in the day and paintball teams and shit like that.
Yeah, but I think this is one of the fascinating things with where we're at in the game currently is, especially when I go out to the local field here in Austin, a lot of it is D4, D5 guys who they joined paintball in 2020 and they didn't know about it previously. They just found out about it by Instagram Reels and oh, wow, this is a thing that I can do. And so it is cool to me to kind of see this new influence of people coming in who don't really know the past and don't really know, the illustrious history that paintball has. Because I think that's one of the things that gripped me when I came in is I didn't know anything about it, but I went to this site called PB Nation and there was Dan Napoli documentaries waiting for me. And I was like, oh, this is my personality now. Okay, this is the thing I love in life. Perfect. And so I think it is great that we have, people who are starting to do that for this generation of the guys who are just now entering into the game. We have the Hall of Icons now. We have, examples where we're kind of showing there is a good history to this, and that's why, we have this tradition and some of these things, because some of it goes back 40 years in time.
Yeah. And I mean, I feel like I've always tried to take that, like with Paintball Access, upon myself to make sure that people don't forget about the guys, from back in the day,
Yeah.
because, um, like being a professional, and getting a chance to like know those guys and know like that history, like you want to make sure that it gets passed down so guys have an understanding of where they came from. I mean, like
Yes.
you see like pro players in other sports, they always talk about that, right? Like you can't let the history die because then, the younger generations don't really understand where they came from, like the machine gun mics, you know what I mean? Like we talk about those guys, and, we have to tell their story because, there was nobody was out there really videotaping these guys, putting it on Instagram, right? So that people could see that these guys were good, like people,
They just put some goggles on and went into the woods and shot each other. Like,
like there was even, the technology has just changed so much. We talked about the technology of the guns, but, just even, the technology of, media and, filming the stuff and putting that content out there, it's just drastically changed.
I was gonna say, like, a good analogy. I love baseball. It's my favorite sport by far. Okay, we have a Shohei Ohtani now, an international superstar of huge proportions, making an unbelievable, godly amount of money. Well, you don't get to him unless you have, Nolan Ryan's back in the day, the first dude to ever make $1 million playing baseball. And you don't get to Nolan Ryan unless you have all of the Yankees who came before him who barely made shit, but were some goddamn good baseball players wearing wool uniforms. It is crazy that, you have to kind of step on the stone of the past to grow in whatever sport it is. Ours is just still very much in its infancy in the grand timeline of, the reality of the world, really.
100%.
I mean, look at Mouse now, like, right? Oliver was like the first guy back in the day to get like that $100,000 deal from Dye to go to the Ironman, and now look at Mouse making the most that anybody's ever made, supposedly.
Yeah, and you could say it's from a monetary standpoint, but even I was just talking about like recognition. I mean, Shohei is internationally that people freaking love that man from Japan to America. He is known, but that love for baseball doesn't happen unless, Japan starts to learn about the game back in the 1950s, and eventually their culture leads to a point where, they now create one of the best baseball players in the world. So it everything takes time, and I think paintball is in a very great place to keep moving forward. Obviously we have some great kind of leaders and guardians and some of the older faces, the Maddies and Todd and Dan and freaking all the documentarians, and the list is too long to name everyone, but it is awesome to see the place we're in, where now some fresh blood is kind of coming back in, as I said, like you guys did back in the day, and we're starting to see that next kind of line of reinforcements ready to, okay, now we're the paintball dirtbags, so we're gonna go sleep on some couches and try to make this happen, because you guys got kids now, you can't do that anymore.
Yeah, and the struggle's real, right?
Yeah.
Paintball's not a cheap sport to play.
No, it is not.
Some people make a lot of sacrifices just to be able to get that game. It's why
Absolutely.
I've been very fortunate to, be blessed in everything that I've been able to do and not take it for granted. To be able to shot the amount of paint I've shot, gone to the amount of places I've gone to, and seen the world because of paintball, and like I want that for everybody. I want you guys to be able to, somebody say, hey, I want to pay you to fly to Aruba, and go play paintball and spend some time on the beach, and then you're going to come back and you're going to go to Europe and do all this stuff. Like I want that for everybody. Make it more accessible and keep spreading the word, and share your experiences with everybody.
Absolutely. One question that I have real quick. I have two, actually. The second one's more important, but okay. So how would you, Todd, get more people like us, like some Joe Schmoes? Like how can we elevate the game more?
Well, like I said, you guys talking about, all your experiences, I think is huge. I talk about or think about, doing something like this, but I just don't have the time. I don't have the time to do this very much, like the way that you guys do. I did back when I was younger, but now I got 7-year-old twins. I have another one on the way.
Congrats.
It's like, just keep spreading the word. But, really, I feel like, making every day that you go out there count. you know, like going and, just trying to play as much as possible, travel around and play as much as possible, just going to different fields, you know, handing out free passes to play if you can, you know, to get people to the field, you know, like go to the schools and try and get the schools to play, you know, like
That
I really
extra
think
like half empty bag of paint you have at the end of the day, instead of throwing it away, go give it to some rec kids. Like
There's
simple
always
things
that.
like that.
yeah, but like, you know, you taking the initiative to, I think like kind of what we're missing, you know, with the younger generation is having that structure, right? You know, you can play youth league football, you play high school football, you know, college football, right? Like we need to do more to have like that, youth league paintball stuff.
Yeah.
Right?
To have like a development structure.
The young
high school
guns.
paintball, you know, and make it affordable so that,
Oh, I remember
Yeah.
being in high school. That was like my dream, was to be able to wear like my school's jersey and like go fucking beat fucking our rival school. I remember sitting in class being like, dude, that'd be so dope if we could do that.
Dude, I tried to start a paintball
Never would
club,
be
bro.
able to do that, but
I tried to start a paintball club. They said it was gun
hey, there's an appearance.
violence. Howdy.
How you doing?
Hi.
Howdy.
Are you going to bed?
Is it bedtime?
I'll be there in a minute. Thanks. Where's your sister?
Well, I don't
Dad time's calling. All right, it's
Oh, yeah.
know how you always say
it's always on the clock. You can't clock out of that one.
Oh, yeah.
Even in the Pikachu Jamies.
Yep.
God, look how rich this man is. Just, at home, got his loved ones around him.
That's where real wealth is.
Yeah, look at that. The Pikachu and everything. It's great.
This is my
But
clown. I have twins. This one looks like me. The other one looks like my wife.
Nice.
that works out then. she made the guest appearance. We can't tell who. It's indistinguishable. But Todd, obviously, it seems like you are being called away tonight. So we'll let you jump on out of here. Thank you so much for your time. I know
Thank you, bro.
every
Seriously.
single one of us appreciate it. We had some great conversations
so.
with you. If someone does want to hear more from Todd Martinez, where can they find you on Instagram and stuff? And how do they keep up to date with you from the stuff you do post from time to time?
I feel like I go through spurts. You know, I don't really use Facebook that much. You know, I'll try and post on Instagram as much as I can, but sometimes I have fun stuff to post. Sometimes I don't. But
And unfortunately, you
Yeah,
don't have
really
Dylan
just-
around anymore. I
know.
love Dylan. He's the content goat.
Love that guy.
Dylan's the best. You know,
He's the inspiration for us to be on video. The first
Really?
podcast we ever did with him was on audio, and he's like, "Why don't we just turn our cameras on and
Yeah,
all
he's
talk
like,
to
I
each
feel kind
other?"
of weird. He's like, I feel
And
kind of
we're
weird.
like,
You know, I'm the only
yeah.
one with my camera on. I was like, sure.
Great
I'll
idea,
boost
Dylan.
mine
We're
up.
dumbasses.
Right?
So, yeah.
Yeah, no, you can follow me on Instagram, Todd Martinez. But we have some stuff we're going to try and do here soon, maybe with Defy. I'm always
Let it
messing
fly.
around. Yep, the Giant San Diego Instagram as well. But
Awesome.
here and there,
Well,
wherever I can.
Well, thank you so much, Todd. I'm gonna be rooting for Aftershock this year. I was rooting for you guys last year, and you did make me quite a bit of money at that AC event. So let's hopefully keep that up this year. But seriously though, Todd, thank you so much for your time. And yeah, we will love to have you back on in the future if it works out. But until then, good luck. Moving forward. And yeah, thank you so much for your time.
I'm gonna
Give me
text
a
you a
little
question, Todd,
pause. Oh.
and I need a voice memo response. That's how good it's gonna be. So it'll
I
be
got
good.
you. I got you.
It'll be good.
All right,
I
thank you guys
promise.
for having me on, man. I really appreciate it. Nice to get to know you guys a little bit more.
Thank you, Todd.
Appreciate you. Thank you so much, Todd. Have a great rest of your night, brother.
Have a good one.
Absolutely.
All right.
Peace.
If you just hit leave down there. All right. Well, boys, that was our episode with Todd Martinez. He came.
That was
He
awesome
here.
for me, dude. 'Cause,
that
dude,
was
I
fucking
grew up
sick.
watching that guy. That was surreal
Yeah,
for me.
I grew up
sure.
watching Short Bus.
Right.
I wasn't lying. That's what I did in my fucking high school bedroom. I was like, "Yo, this
100%.
shit's cool. It's so funny." Ha ha.
So I want to tell the story real quick of how I even got in contact with Todd. Right.
Yeah,
So-
you set this one up. So how did this happen?
So the way how I got set up with Todd, so I had a friend that I played Xbox with, right? I played.
XBZ?
Yep, we played Xbox, played Call of Duty together, right? And so we had a falling out. We didn't really talk that much anymore. But then all of a sudden, I get a message, right? And it's a photo, and I'm like, what the fuck? Okay, so I look at the photo. It's a selfie with him and Todd Martinez. I go, what the fuck, right? And then I get a voice memo where it's like, where he's basically telling me about how. Should I just play the voice memo? Should I just play the voice memo? Should I just do that?
No, you don't have to because
Okay.
you played it for me the other day. It's kind of long.
Gotcha.
But yeah.
So basically, it's like a thing where he basically asked him if he knew who DMG was, and he's like, "Oh, I know who DMG is," and he's like, "Do you know who Stephen Hatch is?" He's like, "Oh, I know who Stephen Hatch is." And I was like, "What the fuck? He knows who I am. I gotta reach out to him now." And so, dude, the rest is history. You know, so it's just
Hatch needed confirmation that he was cool enough. That's what it sounded like. He's like,
Well,
"Oh,
dude,
he knows
'cause
me? Oh, okay."
that was weird for me, dude. Because like I'm a weird level of like weirdness. You know, I don't. Todd
could
is
say
that level of
famous.
fame. I'm not famous, bro. I'm fame-ish. How about that?
No, but I feel that. My second event that I worked for, Go Sports, I get to the airport. I landed. It was, I think, yeah, this was World Cup. My first year I was filming World Cup 2021. I land at the airport. I see a tall dude who's very white and he's got red hair. And his name's Matty Marshall. And so I just go up to him because I was like, oh, hey, another fellow paintball person. I'll say what's up to Matty. And he's a very nice guy. He's always very kind. And, we'll talk to you for a couple minutes. And so I, shook hands with him. And he's like, well, oh, so you're going to the vet. You're going towards Kiss Me, right? Well, you just want to share my Uber over to my hotel? And then you can just get one from there. It'll be cheaper for you. And I was like, fuck yeah, I do, Matty Marshall.
Hell yeah.
And then for like the next 30 minutes, he just told me story after story of, the guys back in the day and the excessive crew and just all this awesome stuff. But I will never forget that as like, these guys really do love spreading the story of the game. And like, even someone he didn't know that well, like, he was like, oh, you're doing media. I've seen you do media before. Jump in my car, like take an Uber with me. Let's chat a little bit. Let's, I'll get to know you. And dude, I'm a fucking 22-year-old kid. Like he didn't have to do that, but yeah, definitely one of the things that one of my first impressions, earlier first impressions of Matty Marshall, and one of the reasons why I always say he's a stand-up guy.
Yeah, I mean, I for my entire life, or for most of it, I was always seeing them through the screen.
Mm-hmm.
And that, dude, if we're being honest, dude, well, let's like go back
This
to
is
it,
in my
dude.
hands, bro.
Right?
They're in this shit. They're
what I'm
our
saying? You
age
know what
in
I'm
this
saying?
shit.
Right?
Yeah.
And I guess it's just so
Fuck, I'll put
surreal
it
for
on
me
that.
because I mean, Ryan is weird because dude, even you and I, like, dude, our relationship when I first started was through the screen of me watching your videos.
It's called parasocial. That's what
Absolutely,
it is.
right?
Through the screen. That's
and then
the term
eventually,
for it.
like, dude, I was like, dude, what's up, man?
People show up to the Drinking Bros Studios parasocial as fuck. It's yeah.
Dude, I just parasocial
Dude,
my way
it
to his
is-
best friends list, bro. I'm in there,
You did for me, but some of these people who show up to my workplace thinking that they're best friends with the hosts, it is yeah,
It's scary.
a little bit.
Okay.
I showed up, I shit you not, Monday morning I show up to work. There's already 2 cars outside that aren't any of our cars, just with people waiting to come into my office. I'm not even in the office yet. Like, god damn it, the shows aren't starting for 2.5 hours. Chill
Dude,
out, people.
They're pre-ordering their handshake, dude.
Fucking parasocial people. Okay, I love you guys. If any of you DM me, I'll respond. We're not friends. Like, unless I know you on a level outside the show, we're not tight friends. I love you. I appreciate you watching the show. I'm glad you find it, entertaining. But we don't know each other. I just want to make that clear.
I'm different, everybody. We're a family. We're different over
And
here.
you know what? That's okay for Hatch. I don't like it, so I'm
See?
not your friend.
Ryan-
I
Randall's that
appreciate
perfect
you.
balance.
Yeah, Ryan will respond to messages, DMs. I know Hatch
do.
responds to
Yeah.
dick pics. So
I respond to any kind of whatever you send me.
yeah, with the same,
You
the
don't
same
wanna say
level
that,
of
brother.
yeah.
Oh,
If
hey,
if
let me
you
tell
send
you,
him a
just-
dick pic, he'll send you a dick pic. You just know
It's
that.
not going to turn over well.
it's a competition that you're losing, buddy. Let me just say.
It's a good point. Hatch will find someone dying at 8 a.m. and you'll just be like, well, my day is ruined now. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you for that, Hatch.
But dude, overall though, this night was just awesome. Getting to.
But we're still doing it. Still a
Yeah,
podcast.
yeah,
we're still
yeah.
alive. We've got a little bit more time to fill up.
I was gonna ask him the donut question. I'm gonna ask him the donut question.
The donut question?
That's a good one, bro. I was asking some dudes on Impact this weekend. Dude, it was a hit.
It's a good question, but we've talked about it on the show, so I'm
That's
glad we were
Todd. I
able
gotta
to.
ask
We
Todd.
also had short amount of time with Todd, so I'm glad we were
Yeah.
able to get some of his background because some of those stories I've never heard before. So that was awesome to hear him explain
Dude,
some
he
of
was
it.
naming off some big boy names, some names that
Yeah,
I
he's like
haven't
my
heard in a
former
long time.
teammates of essentially every great person to ever pick up a paintball marker ever, and it's like, oh, sick.
Yes,
That's fire.
it was absolutely incredible. So I mean,
Yeah,
he was
no,
very
great interview
inspirational
with
to
him,
me
man.
being a coach, and like I mean, I just had to get that off my chest. Where I'm like, dude, like watching you coach Vicious, that was a hype Todd. That was probably, at least for me, it's one of the most hyped versions I've seen of Todd.
Dude, you had to hit him with the "You are my biggest fan."
I let him know, dude. First 30 seconds here, I was like, bro, I'm trying not to fanboy,
Well,
bro.
you're so nervous, but yeah, you can't get it out right. It's a
Hey,
reference.
I
to,
know it's hard to see through my Minecraft
think you
shirt,
do.
but I'm sweating bullets.
He had the goat shirt on. He did. That's crazy.
You like that?
Hey, didn't you wear that
Did you go
yesterday?
see the Minecraft?
I did wear it
movie
yesterday
yet?
because I wanted to talk about it tonight. I saw the Minecraft movie.
You went and saw it.
I did see it.
All right, we gotta talk
Dude,
about it because I
honestly,
didn't see
bro,
it. Is
it
it
was
good?
It was so
Because
very much like
before you
it's
say
a Jack
anything,
Black movie for sure.
Yeah, here's my problem: is I can't tell if the hype on the internet is autism making fun of it, or if it is actually like, okay, that was a good movie. Like I enjoyed that. I
Right,
was,
so
fucking chicken jockey. Hell yeah.
Honest scale.
Like I
on
get
honest
that's a
scale.
meme.
Ready for this? 7.6, a real rating. If I had to give it a rating, 7.6.
That's a hatch scale, so like a 6.5. Okay, that's pretty damn good.
No, and that's not even. I'm not even putting it on my hatch
You like
scale.
bears on cocaine, bro.
I'm putting it on the
That was a good
standard
movie.
of a
That was a good
Minecraft
movie.
fan. Hey, Cocaine Bear, don't even ever talk shit about Cocaine Bear, because let me tell you, I had all the boys hyped on that one. Let me just say.
Yeah,
Back me up, Brando. Back me up.
It was a
Look at-
fun
see,
movie. It was a
memes.
fun movie.
See, we're talking about memes, right?
Yeah,
No,
but it was
is
a great time.
Is it actually a good movie? Did you enjoy it? Did you enjoy
I
watching Jack
definitely
Black?
did. You know, there were times where, obviously, I'm like, oh hell yeah, you know, Minecraft. I'm an avid Minecraft player. You know, the physics in it. I thought
this
the
day.
physics in it were actually incredibly funny. You know, like the shit where you jump off a fucking mountain and land in a water bucket,
And you're
you know?
fine. Yeah.
and you're fine. So
Just one block of water. That's all you need.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil. I'm not going to spoil anything of it, but dude, it was really cool.
Dude, no. Okay, every podcast I've ever listened to has spoiled everything all the time, always. So you just gotta go for it and do it.
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert
So-
for all the listeners.
Spoiler
Yeah,
alert.
spoiler
Yeah,
alert.
if you care about the fucking Minecraft movie, all right.
Which I for
Fucking
sure would. Let me
nerds.
tell you, if you like Minecraft. But so basically, it's like, you know, the Nether, right? The Nether is that's where like the bad guys are of the movie, the Hoglins, you know, the piglins.
Oh, we don't like Hoglins, yeah.
No, we
you
do
gotta give
not,
them
right?
gold because they're greedy.
Yes,
What
and that was
other
their whole
what
thing.
other small creatures like gold? Hmm.
Leprechauns,
You-
Brando.
You
Yeah.
tell me, Brandon.
Hey! Why
Yeah.
why do I gotta be a representative?
Just say leprechauns, bro.
Why don't you grab your heart and throw it to me? So, yeah, Hatch. So the Nether's got all the bad shit
Yeah,
in it. The
all the
Hoglins
bad
like
guys
the,
are in there.
They're the enemies of this movie.
It was
the-
funny. I mean, okay,
The
there,
antagonists.
he was Jack Black was definitely, you know, his himself with like the kind of like singing. He'd sing. He had like some songs every once in a while, you know.
Look,
but
Jack is the goat. All right.
absolutely. I think
grew
he's
up-
one of my favorite actors.
One of my childhood favorite movies, one of the movies I watched
School
all
of
the
Rock.
time, it was School of Rock. I did that speech from for the man speech that he gives when he's like, the man ruined the ozone and he put Shamu in a chlorine goddamn tank. I did that as like my monologue audition speech for like, or my audition monologue for when I was auditioning for shit as a child.
That's
I
sick.
goddamn loved School of Rock. It was such a fantastic
I remember when
movie.
Step Off was the thing.
Step off!
That was sick.
Step off! Yeah, that was a great one. Yeah, so I will never let any Jack Black slander happen. I mean, you throw that in, you throw Pick of Destiny in, you throw in Brutal
What was it,
Legends,
Shallow
the
Hal?
game.
Is that the movie?
Like,
Shallow Hal? Is that the movie?
yeah, we don't have to talk about that one. There's stronger hits from Jack Black we could talk about, but
Well,
Shallow
I
Hal,
like Shallow
that's
Hal
another
better than
good one.
Jumanji. Jumanji was kind of lame.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about that either. Tropic Thunder, like, dude, Jack Black,
yeah.
he's the GOAT in my opinion, so I don't like when I hear
Fu
slander
Panda,
about
dude, he's
him.
literally the Dragon Warrior.
Yes. No, yeah. Jack Black is Jack Black. And what I love about it is he essentially is still the same dude today. He obviously is still a child at heart in many ways. But now he's got a white beard and he plays, fucking Bowser and sings about peaches. Like, I'm sorry, how can you not like the guy? I will not stand for any Jack Black slander.
Yeah, and I thought the movie was awesome. The graphics were sick. Like the Minecraft conversion, because they were in like the normal world, and then people went into the Minecraft
Okay, so there
world.
is a period of time where like they're in Earth,
Normal
if you
world
get what
like
I mean.
us,
Like
right?
just
Normal world
and
like
then
us. So
it
so
goes
Jack
to
Black,
the cube
Yeah,
world.
Jack
Okay.
Black started as a boy, right? In a normal
Steve.
town, just like
Yes.
how we
I
are,
hope.
right?
Well,
But
he's
then he
Steve.
finds, just fucking finds Crystal and a cube. He puts them together, opens a portal. He goes to Minecraft by himself, right? And he's the
'Cause
only one there.
I am Steve.
And you know something that's funny is so my girlfriend's grandpa we were going in like, oh, what movie are you guys gonna go see? We're like, oh, we're gonna go see Minecraft. And then he's like 75 years old. He looks over at us and goes, chicken jockey. And we're like, what the fuck? It's like, how the hell do you know that? You know, how the hell does he know that?
Went and saw it himself.
Right. So it was just fun. The
question,
chicken jockey was
because-
funny. People were going, dude. Okay, I saw a lot
Okay.
of social media where people going crazy.
Yes.
That was my question.
This is where I literally watched
Here we
a
go.
whole Papa Meat video about
Yep,
this. Okay, I played Minecraft since the fucking goddamn alpha. I
Yep.
remember Chicken Jockey being kind of a meme because it just didn't happen.
Chicken jockey.
Why are we freaking the fuck out over it?
I don't know, dude.
What
I don't
am
know.
I missing?
Right. So okay, the whole reason of how they're
Am
in
I
there.
Unk? Do I not
I
get
guess
the youth
I guess so,
humor?
dude. I guess it was one of those
Fuck.
moments where it was like,
Fuck
okay,
my fucking
maybe
camera.
for me is because since it was a baby zombie on there, maybe it was like the baby zombie meme because like in Minecraft the baby zombie, bro, you're dead. The
Yeah,
motherfucker
fair
got 40,000 hearts and unlimited
Wheels.
speed.
Wheels.
Unlimited
Dude, it
speed.
is funny. I just called it Vern. It didn't even recognize me. So that's what fucking Rooster Teeth's Achievement Hunter would call it because Vern Troyer, they nicknamed him after that. The amount of Minecraft knowledge I have that is just the things they would say, if that makes sense. Like, I know what the thing is, but in reference to how they would say it, because that was all. I didn't really play Minecraft. I just watched the Achievement Hunter boys play it in Let's Plays,
Okay.
and that was like my only interaction with it.
Okay.
I mean, yes, I played Alpha, but then like I didn't really get into when it was main release and on the Xbox and everything. And then it's funny now. It's like I've looped back around and now played with you guys again and seen some of the new shit.
Yeah, usually it's like I usually give Minecraft a break where it's like the next big update comes out, then I'll play that. You know what I'm saying? But okay.
Every update, every 6 months, gotta jump back in.
Is it
Gotta
every
build a
6
new
months?
world.
I don't know about that.
Gotta build a new world.
But
You sound like Tarkov players. Yeah,
I
every
actually-
white man. Gotta
I
dedicate.
just update my world.
60 hours a
Same
week,
world,
every
just
white.
update it. But okay, one of my favorite moments
Speaking of, I wanna
is,
play Tarkov again.
dude, the tribute that they made in the movie to Technoblade, bro. Oh, that was so sick.
That okay? Someone's clipped it and put it on social media.
That was
respect that.
awesome, bro.
He's like, you're gonna need
"What
to
is that?"
explain that one, Hatch,
Yeah.
because no one fucking gets that. That is deep YouTube
That is
lore.
some-
Like, obviously
yes,
people understand,
YouTube
but our
lore.
audience does not understand that. So
Like,
please explain.
Did you? Okay, Ryan. Did you yourself
Yes.
grow up with Technoblade? Okay, okay,
Yes,
sweet.
yeah,
sweet,
yeah.
sweet. So,
I was right generation for that. Yeah.
right. So basically, it was this thing where if you grew up anytime around me and Ryan's age in that prime Minecraft, you kind of knew this
You
YouTuber
had Captain
Technoblade.
Sparkles. You had
Sky Does
your
Minecraft,
Sanders,
True
Sky
Moo.
Does Minecraft. Yeah. Sly Fox Hound. You had a whole bunch
Jerome
of different guys.
ASF, Beige
Technoblade.
Canadian.
Techno was one of them. Yep. P-Bat. Yeah.
Yep. Right. And so he was this one where you just a dedicated grinder to the Minecraft, and then eventually, he developed cancer and passed away, and then all of a sudden, maybe about a year, maybe 2 now, but a video was uploaded to his channel where it was it's like, I think if I am correct, I could be butchering this. The caption is, "If you're reading this, I'm dead." Right. And then we click on the video. I'm getting like goosebumps, right? Because I
Yeah,
grew up
no, I'm
watching
getting
this,
them too.
right?
Yeah.
And it's his dad, and he's holding like his little Maltese dog, and he's basically like reading off this
Pre-rehearsed statement. So
pre-rehearsed statement from he's quoting his son.
his name was Alex, right? That's
I think
his
so.
actual name. I think so.
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah, obviously Alex, he had cancer. He knew, it was terminal. The end was coming. So he wrote kind of this statement that he wanted to be read, and then his dad, thankfully he did his last will of his son, which was to read that, and it was very fucking emotional. I mean,
Without a
yeah.
doubt. And he's like, I thought it was so cool. He's like, dude, like my sister's going through college because of Minecraft. Like all the fans and everything, like that. He just loves his community. And I thought that was so cool that they gave him a tribute in the Minecraft
And-
movie.
And big thing, one of the few Minecraft
YouTubers
from that
that didn't do
area
shit.
that didn't touch kids.
He's
that
normal,
didn't
bro.
run a scam. That didn't fucking do shit. All right, so respect to
Didn't beat his
Technoblade.
wife. Hey, shout out to
Didn't-
Technoblade,
dude.
bro.
Apparently, every Minecraft YouTuber from the 2011s was touching kids. All right, it just
Yeah.
apparently happened to all of them, including
insane.
Achievement Hunter. One of them was fucking found out for doing that shit.
That is
so,
fucking crazy.
Yeah, god damn it. Not any of the cool ones. It's fucking stupid
But
guy.
I thought it was so
It's
cool.
not
It's like
Gavin free.
they're walking through the town. Jack Black's like, "Oh, these are villagers. This is a village." Blah blah. And like the
And
pig
so-
walks out with the
yeah.
crown.
To give reference, Techno would usually wear a character that was like a
Yeah,
pig,
thank
and
you,
then
Ryan.
he would have a
Crown.
on, and then kind of this like red
Like a
cape,
cape,
that
yep.
was on, and that was his skin. He was known as that look in the game.
He never changed his skin.
And so the pig that walks in is wearing a crown, with the
right.
identical cape. And
I don't think he was wearing a
Jack's
cape. I think he
character-
was just wearing the crown, right? But it's
Oh,
enough.
was it? Oh,
it's
true,
enough.
true. Yeah, it was the
Right?
sideways crown.
And
yeah,
so
yeah.
it was cool because they're like, what the heck is that? And then Steve goes, "That's a legend, kid." And I'm like, damn, dude, that hit me right in the feels because I was like, I didn't see like a leak or anything like that. That was my first time seeing it, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
I'm like nudging my girlfriend. I'm like, that's Technoblade. That's Tech. She's like,
Yeah,
what
they
the fuck are you
referenced a
talking about?
fucking YouTuber. Like,
Yeah.
that was one of the things where I'm like, all right, respect Minecraft movie, because like.
Yeah.
You didn't have to do that, but that's cool that you did. Like, because
Absolutely.
obviously the people
Little
who are
nod
going
to
to be
the lore.
fans of this thing knew about Techno, and and yes, there's probably 1,000 audience members who have no clue
And
what
I think
that
that
part
was more
is.
for our
But those
generation.
who do, yeah.
Dude, we were gonna like. I mean, I was gonna go
fuck
see
Dream,
the Minecraft
alright?
movie no matter what.
Fucking Dream and all these SMP motherfuckers, they came after the OGs, okay? I was there when Captain Sparkles fucking had one block in the sky and survived on that shit. And if you
Don't
weren't,
mind at
fuck
night.
you.
Dude, I mean, I put that song on my story the other day, dude. The "Don't Mind at Night." That that with my
Oh,
Minecraft
I didn't
meal at
hear that
McDonald's,
one. But I did, yeah. No, Skyblock was the shit back in the day. If you don't
Oh,
even know
dude.
what Skyblock is, you're too young for me.
Dude, Skyblock, Cops and Robbers, dude, like
Bed
like
Wars.
Hunger Games, bro. Like seeing like
Hunger
Games.
Games,
Oh,
the Bed Wars.
that
yep.
that popped
sick,
in my
dude.
mind yesterday in mid surgery.
by
I
the
thought
way-
like, oh shit, there was an era of like everyone was playing Hunger Games in Minecraft. That was why that was a cool fucking time.
Yeah, and you want to know when that was? It was before Fortnite. It was before
Yeah.
PUBG. The first ever Battle Royale game that ever came out was on goddamn Minecraft. I'm not shitting you, because
Some
H1Z1
custom
was
games.
even after this. So
about
Hunger
DayZ?
Games mod in Minecraft is the first official like Battle Royale type game ever made. Think
so
about
insane.
that for a fucking second. God damn it.
And you know, okay,
Minecraft,
so,
baby.
one of my favorite
Minecraft.
things about it, I'm gonna skip a little bit towards the end, right? So they defeat the evil villain, right?
Spoil
And-
all of it.
Right? So, okay. Basically, the fucking evil piglin queen steals the fucking crystal from Steve and fucking makes eternal darkness. Fucking shoots up in the sky. The overworld is like all black to where now they can come out of the nether portal and fuck everything up, right? 'Cause
That's not
they're
good.
right? Bad. No bueno, right?
No one likes
And-
that.
And
The Fallout thing. Everyone disliked that.
yeah. And so seeing Jack Black in Minecraft diamond armor was some of the funniest shit I've
fuck
ever seen.
yeah.
Dude, it's
I
like
haven't
literal
seen that
Minecraft
image.
where it's like square as fuck, right? And he's like
Yep.
doing all these these flips and everything.
Looking like a goddamn corridor, node video from back in the day when they would do all the Minecraft videos and stuff. I don't know if you guys
Yes.
ever remember those.
And then so the ending is basically like he is like Jack Black is gonna stay in Minecraft while everybody goes back to the overworld, right? And they're like, oh, Steve, like we have a place for you, bro. Like you can come back. He's like, nah, I belong here. This is my creative space, right? And then eventually he's like, you know what? Fuck it. Goes back in the overworld because he felt like he was a loser in the overworld. So he used Minecraft to. I think there's a whole big metaphor, right? He felt like he was a loser, so he used Minecraft to.
Became a king in Minecraft.
Yes, became a king in Minecraft. Use his creative mind in Minecraft to make him
I
feel
see.
like he was somebody, right? So then when he goes back to the overworld, right? In my mind, I thought that was like a lesson where it's like, don't stay in the game forever. Come back eventually, right? You can play video
Or
games for a
do.
long time. Come back.
No, or do stay in the game forever. Real Ready Player One shit, and just live
I
your
would
life
love
there,
that
because
shit.
it's gonna be better than the real world, obviously.
But I mean, bro, dude, to live in
Patch.
what they had, that Minecraft world, dude, I'd live there for sure, bro.
you would?
No.
That shit was awesome.
You
fucking
really
love
want to live in
Minecraft.
Minecraft? I don't want to live in Minecraft.
You know, I probably wouldn't want to because
Like,
then
if you have to
I would be able to play
survive
good
as
games.
Steve, I don't want to do that now.
I will say though, dude, Steve was a fucking god. Like he was dancing around these zombies.
Steve
bro.
is the meta character that everyone plays as. So you have to think about it. He technically has everyone's abilities and experiences wrapped into him.
Yeah.
Is
is
there
canon.
is there a Herobrine?
I did not.
I was literally thinking this.
I did not see Hero Brian. I mean, unless it was like
That's
something in the
crazy.
background. Unless it was something in the background, I did not see it.
So, okay, let's break this down, because how many fucking kids these days even know about fucking Hero Brian?
Dude, I remember Hero
so
Brian
there
with
was a rumor in Alpha.
water and the flowers around.
Let
was
me
the
finish
Twilight
that.
Forest.
So there was a rumor in Alpha that if you would get a very rare spawn of essentially your character, but it wasn't your character, it would be like an enemy, and he would have like whited out eyes or blacked out eyes or something like that.
over white eyes.
Yeah. And so
he was Steve.
people online, they started calling him Hero Brian because he was like the opposite of you. And here's the thing. He wasn't even like in the game code. Like this was a thing made up online as people were trying to like give more lore. Exactly, creepypasta to the game. And I think eventually Notch did add in like that NPC into the game somehow. Like he can spawn in now, but originally he was not in the game. It was a rumor, and the only videos of it were like animations made to like make it seem like, oh my god, I had a Hero Brian show
Or
up.
like
It was
a
so scary.
Sasquatch encounter where it's like you turn and you see him right there, and then you turn back and then you go back and he's gone.
Yeah, or exactly. Like you also got to remember too, like this was the time period where when I was playing Minecraft, zombies terrified me. Like I mean, just spiders and shit were insanely and terrifying as a fucking 11-year-old kid. So yeah, thinking that there's this like creature in every world that's just stalking you, waiting to show itself.
That's scary.
It was terrifying. So yeah, Hero Brian was some creepypasta.
I'm
OG shit back in the
surprised
day.
that.
I was too. I was
there's
like waiting for it like the whole time.
Yeah, they should have added it like at least something.
Okay, you want to hear some complete bullshit about the Minecraft movie?
What's
Jack
the
Black
complete bullshit?
got paid $5 million for it. Jason Momoa, who's a side character, got 12.
But that's just Jack Black is technically not as big as an actor as Jason Momoa, and I know you can debate that,
Okay,
but technically
I can debate it right now.
his
Who did we have
agent
dinner
was
with?
able to stop Patch, because yes, for us in this debate it is pointless, but I'm not a fucking 20-year-old house mom.
All I'm saying is I had dinner. We had dinner with Jason Momoa. We haven't had dinner with Jack Black. Who's more famous? All I'm saying.
Yep. We called him Jay. As
your
he walked.
personal experiences vary, all right?
Call him Jay.
Called him Big J. Average size J, honestly. But yeah.
Right next to you, he looks like goddamn Hulk.
Oh, like the mountain. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I
I'll
wore
get beaten.
I wore my Minecraft shirt, wore some headbands. It was awesome. Got to go with my girlfriend, my best friend. Overall, Minecraft movie 7.6.
Did you guys throw your popcorn at Chicken
No,
Jockey?
but there were people that did throw their popcorn at Chicken Jockey.
We gotta kill those people. We gotta round them up.
Like,
It's time to hunt them down.
no, me and JB started booing them whenever they threw their popcorn. They're like, they threw their popcorn. Like, it wasn't like crazy like it is on social media where you see people.
They're just doing like
crazy,
a little
right?
like, because
You know?
they didn't want to commit. They were
No,
like,
it was
I
just
want
one
to
guy
They're
who
waiting for
basically
everyone
went-
else.
It was just like people who basically went like this. They just went like, it's like threw a bag of popcorn,
Like a
And we're just
handful, like,
and while they're like, no, not like like the whole bag. Like they threw like the whole bag, right?
Okay.
And we're just me and JB are just like booing him while they're walking out during the movie. It was like boo, boo. But overall,
You and
great
JB
experience.
would.
For sure. What are they gonna do?
Well, you guys are the two biggest trolls I know, so you guys together in public that's scary to think about.
Not even, dude. We don't mess with anybody in public. Ever. I'm just friendly.
You
with
sure about
everybody.
that? You sure about that?
I don't mess with anybody. I'm just a friendly guy.
Too friendly, some would say.
You know, it was actually funny. I walk up to the counter and I'm like, "Hey, can you guess what movie I'm seeing?" Guy looks down at my shirt and he goes, "Nah," because I was wearing the goat shirt. You know, I'd wear it 2 nights in a row, bro. Maybe a little bit stinky because that movie was fucking had me sweating a little bit.
You guys watched it
Pretty
last
intense.
night?
Yeah, last night.
Oh, okay. So this
I was
was
like-
fresh on your mind. That's why.
I told her I was like, I have to watch it like the day before the podcast, so it's fresh in my mind.
That's a good
shit
point,
we
because
did.
if you watched it tomorrow and then tried to tell us about it next Tuesday,
Oh.
it would have been like, Jack Black's in it.
No, the movie was so good. There were genuinely a lot of
match.
parts that I remember, but there were some parts where I thought were really fucking funny, like the railing system. You know how it's like when you do like redstone rails, it's like
Whoa!
you're not doing
pause.
anything.
I'm talking about railing people. This is pause.
You know
Hold
what I'm
on,
saying?
family show.
Jack Black. And,
First in
let me
line.
tell you, there were some fucking weird ass moments with Jack Black and Jason Momoa for sure, where they're like,
Pause.
what is it called? They're basically like 69ing, flying through the air. It was fucking funny as shit.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
What is he-
I'm
he's like,
going
he's like-
tomorrow.
He's like, we need to make a. He's like, we need to make a man sandwich. We need to make a man sandwich. And then so while they're flying through the air with their light
Are there
shows,
any
they, like,
showings at midnight tonight?
They like
Can
flip
I
each other
see
over and start like
this?
69ing each other, bro. It's fucking funny.
Again, I don't think they were 69ing. I think it was not like.
Like they were locked, like they like opposites. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
yes, I see what you mean, but I think in the context of a children's movie, Hatch, they weren't 69ing as you're saying right now.
I didn't say sexually. I said normally, bro.
You ever normally 69 with your bro? You know,
Hey,
in
bro,
a
anything
non-sexual
Every
manner.
event.
All
Every
I'm
event.
saying is anything happens on DMG, bro. We squeeze in like sardines in a bed.
God.
Let me just say.
Pause the fuck up. Hold the fuck
Whoa,
on.
whoa. All I'm saying is we have each other's backs. That's all I'm saying. And each other's fronts.
And the
We're
big guy.
69ing.
And midsections. It's kind of fucking odd. Well, yeah, boys. So, guys, okay. Here's where I now ask you guys what the fuck happened to you this weekend, because my weekend consisted of sitting at home and uploading 64 episodes of a podcast for its back catalog for work while I watched the Masters. So if you want to
I
talk
got a bit
about
on the
Rory
Masters.
McIlroy absolutely fucking giving us a beautiful roller coaster, we can do that. But that's about all that I fucking did last week, because
I
fucking
got some info on that.
changing over podcast fucking providers. It's annoying.
Really? Wait a minute. Wait, Dan
Dude.
Hatch, did you watch the Masters?
Did you watch the Masters? A tradition unlike any other?
I said I told you I was gonna get information, Ryan. Right. So one thing that me and my girlfriend were watching a little bit, and she was schooling me a little bit, where Bryson DeChambeau, I don't know how to pronounce that. DeChambeau.
Bryson,
So
yeah.
apparently he, the day before the Masters, went and shot and drove 300 balls.
Yeah, he knows. So over the course of the weekend, he shot 1,000 balls on the driving range.
Yeah.
So physically, one of the guys who is at work, Dan Register, he's a huge golf fan. He used to work at the Golf Channel back in the day. He has his own show on Drinking Bros called Ducko Dan's Golf Picks, where he gives picks for all the events. But he, who was the player you were talking about again? Because I was like, I gotta get context for Delco.
DeChambeau.
Bryson, yeah, his take on Bryson was he just looked physically not there. Like,
Yeah.
his swing wasn't all together, and that's why he was on the range, like trying to like get loosened up and like try to feel right.
I wonder if he was over fatigued because that's a lot of balls you're hitting, dude. And Tegan was telling me, because she's a golfer. She was a state champion golfer, right?
Yeah.
She knows where she's like, when you hit the ball so many times in a row, like you're feeling the impact. It's like baseball when you're hitting a baseball, it's like you're feeling the impact of, that ball, and you're basically sometimes coming to putting some real serious fucking force on this bitch,
Yeah. I mean, I think, yes. So obviously, yeah. I mean, if he's doing way more workload than his competitors, that's going to start to add up. Do I think that was the only reason? No. I think just
And he
physically
got
he
fifth.
didn't have it
DeChambeau
on
got
Sunday.
fifth.
It's Bryson DeChambeau. Please fucking
Whatever.
say it right.
Bryson DeChambeau.
God damn it. No, he fucking, yeah, he was in second coming into the final day and just fell apart in his last, back nine. Really didn't have in the front nine either. But yeah, I'm not the guy to like give a whole Masters breakdown of everything. I can just say though, I've watched Rory McIlroy lose that tournament for more years in my life than I haven't. So to see him finally get it done, it was beautiful. There was just something in my gut that was just telling me it was the day of Rory all day. Like, even when he missed the birdie putt on 18 and he had to send it to the playoff, I was just like, no, it's the day of Rory. Like, this is not Justin Rose's day. He's not going to come in here and win through this playoff. It is going to finally be the day of Rory. and the day of Rory it was. So that actually is quite a big achievement for him. If you don't follow golf, that was the career Grand Slam for him. So that is achieving a win at every single majors tournament, the U.S. Open, the Players Championship, the Masters, and there's one more I can't think of right now. But winning at each of those is called the Grand Slam if you do it in 1 year, which I don't think anyone's done. But if you do it over the course of your career, the career Grand Slam, I think six. Well, yeah, there's 6 players in the history of golf who've done it, and it's Jack Nicklaus, or Jack Nicholson, Tiger Woods, Arnold Palmer, Rory, and Player. Can't think of his first name right now. Gary Player.
Jack Nicholson,
So
like
yeah,
the actor.
Ghost. What?
Jack Nicholson, the actor.
Not Jack Nicholson.
I was like,
you
okay.
know who I'm talking about. I'm talking
Okay.
about.
I wasn't
going
gonna
to
correct FTS facts, baby.
I got you.
No,
Okay,
you
so-
guys,
you
you're
guys ready for
asking me
this?
to pull names out of a stat I
No,
barely
you guys,
remember.
you guys ready for this? In
Nicholas,
honor,
right?
in honor
Jack
of the
Nicholas,
Masters,
whatever
I
the fuck his
actually-
name
Yeah,
is, you guys
yeah,
know.
I actually have a bit for the Masters for us.
You have a bit?
Yep. Ready?
Okay.
Can you guys name the 7 unwritten rules of the Masters when it comes to being there?
Yeah, I can.
Unwritten rules? I can tell you written rules. God damn it, Brandon. I hear that in the background. I mean, unwritten rule, you can't have your phone, so all
Yep,
phones
that's
are
one.
you're
Yep, no
taking.
phones allowed.
And that's
And you wanna know why?
Some of the best.
Now you ready?
Yes,
I got
Hatch, please explain the
stats,
Masters
bro.
to me, Hatch.
Yeah, dude.
I love
Because so
this.
they
Please
don't
explain this to
allow
me.
phones because they have payphones on the golf course. So if there's ever an emergency, they'll just go to a payphone.
Who the
That's
fuck
not the only
carries
reason
change?
why, but yes, they do have payphones. That is a thing.
Ready for this? Ready for the next one?
Yeah, what's the next one, Hatch?
All right. No price gouging. The food has stayed exactly the same since it first started. Right. So pimento cheese,
Dude,
Sammy,
what BuzzFeed
150,
article
bro.
are you fucking reading right now? We know this. Yes, a beer is like $2.50. That's
Yeah.
the best part about going to the Masters.
Well, first of all, what do you mean we? We knew this. What do you mean we?
Of
I've
course,
known
I
this
knew
for
this.
years,
Yeah, fucking
my
right,
man.
buddy. Yeah, fucking right, Brando.
Are you okay? All right.
I didn't know. I'm
What,
down
is
to
it gonna
teach
say
everybody.
next that the only people who get to wear green jackets are winners and fucking club members?
No.
Really?
So,
Yeah, fucking the financial, like, the chief of finances at HP also has a fucking green jacket. It's fucked up. It's
They
like the
win that.
fucking Steven Tagala, Tiger Woods, like all these greats, and then goddamn random, like, CFOs from HP. It's just because they have enough money to buy one. It's stupid.
you want to do the next one? Or are we done?
Oh, you continue, please.
All right,
Continue.
here we go.
I wanna hear
Ready?
next.
Running is not permitted unless you're a player. You can speed
Yeah,
walk,
you-
but you cannot. Like the only person
Yeah.
who can run is a player, and the security will throw your ass out.
Yeah, it's like the exact opposite from the Waste Management Open. Whereas, like, the Waste Management literally is like there's a rope drop at 8 a.m. and then you run to your place to try to get on the 17th so you can fucking get drunk all day.
Yes. So thank you for that one. That's the next one. They respect the chairs. If a chair is put down,
Yeah.
you do not move it no matter what.
No, yeah, no one touches it. It's like
It's
so,
locked in.
Dan, Ross, and the other Dan, the 3 people at work, they went to the Masters, I want to say 2 or 3 years ago for Drinking Bros to cover it. And that was one of the things that they talked about is like, no one takes shit, which is weird because, like, you're not used to that in America anymore. But like, we're all in this really expensive private country club. No one
Yep.
grabs like chairs
Exactly.
or
And that's another thing is they're
anything
private,
like that.
so they can enforce all these rules. Like they don't give a fuck.
Yeah, no,
Right?
they can kick people out
So-
very easily. You're trespassing at that point.
Ready? Next one. No backwards hats. Period. You get kicked out if you put your hat on backwards.
The only way that fucking our boy, god damn it, I can't think of his goddamn name right now. Jesus fucking Christ. Ken Griffey Jr., the only way that he was able to wear a backwards baseball hat is by bringing in a camera and shooting as a photographer during the event. I'm not even joking you.
Hell
I'm not
yeah.
even joking you.
The
Ken
bill
Griffey
gets in
Jr.
the way.
is known for having the backwards hat. He even he would have been told to put it in front, but because he's got the camera, he is allowed to have it behind.
Right. So next, no yelling at the Masters unless you're a player. Like obviously people like celebrate hitting a hole in one, but it's like no yelling from the crowd. Like
That's
Can you-
bullshit. Okay.
Can you heckle?
no.
Well, Hatch, this is kind of a one that doesn't get enforced that much because I mean, yeah, you've always got the get in the hole guys, or oh, great shot, let's go. Like, you always got those guys, but not necessarily heckling, but like interacting with the players does happen like quite a lot. Even not just at this event, but other events too. Like, I mean, obviously they're walking around people all day. Like, if someone makes them laugh, they're gonna, they can talk to them.
All right, you ready for another one? Okay, so the staffs can't refer to fans as fans; they must be referred to as patrons.
Yeah, because they are.
Yeah, because it's
you're
that
a
private country club.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So I thought that. So like on their broadcast or whatever, they will be like, "Oh, my bad, should not have said that." Like patrons, and then correct themselves when they say fans.
Yeah. Well, one of the other crazy things too. Look up Augusta, Georgia. Look up what's there. There ain't fucking shit there. There's Augusta National and there's like a Hooters, and that's about fucking it in Augusta, Georgia.
Nice
it is a
Hooters.
tiny little town, but because of that, they're able to kind of keep the riffraff out. They're able to keep it the way they would like, the
Hell
way.
yeah, brother!
The
not
way
what you
the
called 'em
South
earlier.
fought for, you know what I mean, brother? Damn right.
Hey, my brother. All right, last one. So, just like what you said, Ryan, where people don't take anything. You can't take anything. You can't take souvenirs. In 2012, a man scooped up some grass and got arrested for it. It cost him $20,000.
You can take souvenirs. You just have to buy them from the gift shop.
Well,
And
but you know
it's
what I'm saying? Like,
a
you can't
gnome
take.
that
You can't
is
like take a golf. You can't like
limited
take a golf
edition.
ball. Like, you see if someone hits a golf ball, you can't take that shit.
I mean,
so
you run really
there's
fast,
a
you
difference.
can.
Well,
You can't run, Brando.
Yes.
This is the rules, bro.
also, players do throw out golf balls from time to time, like after the end of a round.
I think that's
they'll throw
different,
out
though.
that ball.
Yeah, I think that's different.
fine. But yes, like if someone just hits it near you, you can't just pocket their ball
No, like
and fucking
even
start running.
you can't even take sand. Like the guy in 2012 took grass shavings.
Well, honestly, it's because so many people would.
Yeah.
Hatch, I know for you, it's not a thing, but I don't even love golf all that much. I played it as a kid. I have an appreciation for it. I enjoy it. I do watch it from time to time. It is in my bucket list to go to the Masters. It is
Next
essentially
year, baby, we're going.
No, not next year, Hatch. I don't think you realize how goddamn hard it is to go to the Masters. It is a lottery system, first of all, unless you have enough money to just buy a ticket. But you can get lottery tickets for decently cheap. I want to say like a couple $100s for the whole week of play out there. The problem is it is so hard to get to, but it's one of those things that once you do, it is a goddamn wonderland. Imagine being in the most beautiful location you've ever been in your life with just thousands of like other people who are also respectfully there. No one's on their phone. No one's taking a photo. No one's having a loud phone call. When a golfer comes up to swing, like no one is having a side conversation. Everyone is locked into what is going on. When fucking Rory missed that putt on 18, everyone like felt that, and they were like, "Oh my god!" There's not some random wife who's like, "Oh my god, it's so fun to be here. I'm at the Masters. Oh, it's great." Like there is none of that. It is, it is as close to an adult wonderland as you can get as a man, and yes, I want to go. My uncle has been to the Masters. He went back in like the 2000s when I was, younger. I remember him talking about it. But yeah, I'm not even that big of a golf guy, but it's on my bucket list for sure.
Let's go. We'll make it to the Masters one day. FTS to the Masters. We're
gonna get kicked out of the Masters one day. We literally can't bring technology in. Like we can't do what you want us to do. If we go, it'll literally just be us going, like not being able to do anything. Just
I wonder who's going to be the first person to bring in the
podcast from the
recording
hotel
glasses.
room.
I wonder who the first person is that's going to try to bring in glasses.
I think people tried this event.
Really?
I mean, yeah, they're smart enough. They know about it.
Well, no, I wonder if anybody got away with it.
Well, I haven't seen any footage, so probably not.
Wait, the viewers can't bring their phones?
No, yes. No, like
one can.
Yes, you get patted down. You cannot bring a phone.
Told to leave your phone in the car.
National. Wow. Yes, no, you leave it in the car. It is not. Yeah.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah.
That's one of the
No
best
phones,
parts, man. Like
period.
you don't get it. Like it is beautiful because we take for granted. Maybe you guys remember a little bit when you were small children how events and stuff went before phones, but like Dude, there is something that is a different level of energy and atmosphere when there is not 100 people out of the 1,000 that are there at that hole who are not even looking or paying attention.
Oh yeah.
Exactly.
Let me
Brandon.
tell you, until me and Brando really started like kind of trying to make a little bit more content, for FTS and everything like that, dude, there would be times where we don't touch our phones all day. No joke. Where the only time like we are on our phones is if it's like one of us calling each other because we can hear our phones ringing. That's it.
At an event, is this what you mean?
Yeah, at an event.
Yeah. No, and those are busy times too. And it's like the funny thing too we talked about earlier, but fuck, I forgot his name again. God damn it. Ken Griffey Jr. He did actually go to this Masters as a credentialed member of the media and took photos, all of that, which is cool for him and great. I never want to take photos at the Masters because if I'm ever there, I want to get drunk off $2 beers and fucking cheer on people to shoot fucking great shots all day, man. Like, I don't want to go and work at the Masters, all right? I've done that at plenty paintball tournaments, okay? I'm good off that. So that's my one take on going and working at these events.
Another stat I got, dude, $1.50 sausage biscuit.
Yeah. Yeah,
How
all their
fucking sick is
food's
that?
cheap. All their it's great. The fucking merchandise, like, it's merchandise fees, but it's not like $100 for a sweatshirt. It's like $45, $50.
It's fair. There's like
Which is
there's a
it's still
unwritten rule,
expensive, but
no
it's not
price
like
gouging.
Yeah.
Right then.
Yeah, no,
I
the
think that's
Masters.
cool.
I'm glad you're learning about the beauty that is this or last weekend, every weekend in April.
I wouldn't
'Cause-
even have cared if we didn't talk about it. No bullshit. But
Dude,
now I do.
I'm glad you do because
Banner, do you care?
next year, Hatch, here's what's gonna happen. Next year, you're gonna be scrolling through Instagram this time, and you're gonna get to a reel, and Jim Nance's voice is gonna come on, and it's gonna say, "The Masters, a tradition like none other." And you're gonna get goosebumps instantly, and you're finally gonna understand what it means to be a fucking middle, American male in today's age, bro. Because, goddamn, you've been missing
the
out
day
for
that
years.
I start
It is
golfing
beauty.
is the day the nether freezes over, bro. No bullshit. When I start golfing.
So golfing's actually a lot of fun. So I played as
I know.
a kid.
That's what I
we
hear.
went to like camps and stuff, and like it's great. Like I loved it. I kind of, when I was a kid, I had clubs and everything, but then I grew out of them, and my, the recession happened. My family didn't have a lot of extra money, so we weren't doing that shit anymore.
I had to classify mine, dude. I miniature for days.
The what, mind?
Miniature for days. I have to classify what golf I play.
That's
not
regular golf for me.
Because Hatch, that's literally the worst part of golf is putting. Getting up to a tee box and drilling one 250. That now makes the whole day worth it. And then doing the 17 other times where you just top it and get like 12 yards, that happens too. But the one you hit nice, that's what makes the whole day worth
do
it.
you get like a windmill where you have to like shoot it, like shoot through a windmill, and then you have to like bounce
you
it
get a
off a cow's
goddamn
head?
pond you gotta shoot over, because if you don't, it's 2 extra strokes and you gotta drop your fucking ball back
Then
in.
you got to get in the pond and get that ball, your favorite ball.
Yes. Yeah, Peter. You gotta get in there.
Damn.
Yeah, but you hit it in the lake. We're not supposed to hit it in the goddamn lake. It's a great bit from Family Guy. But yeah, dude, Hatch, maybe that's the Patreon stretch goal. It's like if we ever hit our PKA $10,000 a month level, we all get together and play a round of golf.
You know what? All right.
Yeah.
Let's.
Make
Some
content
years I
from
played
it.
golf, but yeah.
You know what? We will set a realistic
Oh, I
goal.
will suck ass because, dude,
Yeah.
it's been. I was 15 probably the last time I really played golf.
No, dude. Let's set a goal to where the next time I'm in Texas, we'll go golfing. What are we thinking, Ryan? What's
We
your big goal?
need some type of financial support for this. We can't. I'm not
I'll be back
gonna
to Texas sooner or later.
start golf. I just mean myself. I'm not just gonna start golfing myself. Like
We're going once.
the audience needs to pay. That's what I'm saying, Hatch. I don't do it for
Oh
free.
yeah. Hey, let me tell you.
I don't
if you're
fuck for
listening
free,
to this,
and I don't golf for free.
if you're
Okay.
listening to this, make sure
only two
that you
things I
go to
do
the
for free.
Patreon, subscribe. We have your backs. There's some extra content on there. Get the post
Hey,
show. The
Papa
post show
don't
has some
play
great-
ball for less than a rack. All right. So make sure you go sign up. Patreon.com/Mafia_Productions. Get access to the post show. But boys, that's the Masters. We talked about that for a bit. Do you guys have anything else you want to jump into tonight? I know we're getting towards the end of the show for us over here on the main side.
I got an important one. Make sure you guys check your balls. It's April is Testicular Cancer Awareness Month, So make sure you guys check your balls.
That's fine.
I was
Just
waiting
wanna
for
make
this weekend for you to check
I was
for
like,
me.
God damn it, this was gonna be a
I
long
am.
one. But...
Luckily, this weekend's still April, so I will check.
Thank you. So yeah, we'll
got
stay
you,
here. You're staying in one of these beds against this weekend, so
And you're staying in it with me, buddy. Good luck.
definitely. You know, we gotta be sure.
Brando, Hatch, and Dova, all in the twin.
Yeah, hell yeah, baby.
And Dova's
That's a full?
just
That's a
keeping
full?
security. Yeah.
Yep. Dova sits outside.
Yeah, he does.
Do what he gotta do.
He guards. Nah, didn't do much either. You know, it paintball Sunday, and then Michelle and I we went to take pictures down in San Jose at a garden. You know, Jesus. No, it was cool. It was because most of the time she takes the pictures, and it was my time, my turn to all right, stand there, do this, no, do that, look here, look there, no. Yeah,
Shut the fuck
I really
up.
got to.
And then,
yeah.
And then you got slapped. You got slapped, not the other way around.
I did.
Fuck. God damn it, I was gonna say something off that, but then the domestic abuse got me off. You know, I started thinking about domestic violence. And
Trust me, it gets me off too. Don't worry.
Yeah, we know.
But
You're with a Latina. It's obvious.
oops. Yeah, it not much.
One little photo shoot. That's always good.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, for her grad school. Just congratulations for getting in grad school.
I remember what I was gonna say now, Brando.
I gotta get her something.
You fucking posted the gayest thing I ever saw on your story, like last week, and I had to call you out for it.
What was it?
Oh.
This man posted pictures of his wedding, and I was like, God, what? You so gay, bro. What are you doing? Fucking posted photos of the woman
That one's
that
bittersweet
you
for me
because
because I could have been there, but we were busy going fucking 0-4 because I got outvoted.
Yeah.
Those photos are bittersweet for me.
Hey, you got to hang out with Lastra that weekend, all right? So don't
Let me
sound
tell
too
you,
upset.
that is the only good thing about that weekend.
It wasn't a complete lost.
Yeah, literally.
We had to salvage it.
Yeah, when you messaged me that, I was like, God damn it, dude. Ah, man.
No, I mean, yeah, context. Brandon just posted, like, it was like something like, you last April, and it was him and Michelle getting married, and then I was like, fucking, you're gay, you fucking... Yeah, because everyone knows the gayest thing you can do is love a woman.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, the straightest thing is to marry another man, because you're going to assert your dominance.
Marry the bros.
Yeah.
For the rest of your life, assert dominance.
Yeah. Hatch, can you name a more manlier thing than taking a man from his back? Like, just really dominating a guy?
Say it right. Hatch, can you name a more manlier thing than just fucking another dude?
All right. Playing chicken with your dicks.
No, wait, no, is not. No, that's not nearly as manly. That's the
Dick and jockey?
I don't like that. Well, yeah, I'm glad. All right, we got the dick and jockey. Fucking. Boys, how the fuck do we get out of there? Jesus
I don't know,
Christ,
dude.
Dad.
I
You just
don't know.
dropped an A-bomb and fucking left the conversation altogether. Hate you for that.
Okay. If we want, I got one question that we can end it off on. It's pretty good.
Hey, good news. Someone on Hinge just matched with me. I'll check that out after the show.
Oh, show
but
us now. Show us right now.
Fucking
show
no,
us
dude.
right
I'm
now.
not doxing
That's
someone on
us
the podcast.
right-
That's
No,
a post
cover the
show.
name.
That's
Cover the name.
Post show. No,
That's a post
cover the
show.
name.
That's a post show.
That is for the homies on the
Hey.
Patreon. who
Hey, I
pay for
tried,
that
everybody.
content.
I tried, everybody.
And I
Just know.
reminded him that our Patreon members are our favorite fans.
Yeah.
We appreciate all of
Absolutely.
you. But our Patreon homies are the homies who will get to see whoever the fuck this was over here. So, what were you going to say? I don't fucking
All
know.
right, so this is just a real quick question. So, would you guys
Question,
rather?
we're ending the show. No.
Okay, all right,
This is for
we're
the
ending
post
it.
show.
I'll
This is for
save
the
it,
post
I'll
show.
save it, I'll save
Cool
it.
guy of the week, code red of the week. We're doing it. We're here. It's at the end of the show, boys.
Yep.
Go ahead,
Here you
Brandon,
go.
you go first.
Here's my cool guy of the week.
Let's
I
see it.
saw this the other day. I was like, oh, fuck yeah. Dude, I don't know this guy's name. All right.
see this.
But here's the headline. Man slaps woman during hands-off protest after Mike.
Oh, I
plugs
saw
in.
this, dude. He's fucking.
Dude,
she's like
that-
screaming, and she
Yeah,
just
it-
walks up. And
yeah.
what shirt is he
Okay,
wearing?
Hatch,
Hold on.
Hatch, I know you're getting excited.
Oh, dude, I
Brandon,
love
you're
this
going to need
video.
to
Here we go.
repeat. Sorry. So,
Yes.
essentially,
I
from
got
the
you.
beginning, you're going to need to repeat because Hatch just yelled over you, and I
worries.
genuinely couldn't hear a word.
No
So,
worries.
what is the backstory?
So again, I'm going to say the headline again. Man slaps woman during hands-off protest after mic snatch. So
Are you saying hands off? Your mic's like breaking up. Okay.
Yes, hands off. So whatever that protest means, whatever. But
Okay.
there was a lady on stage.
Hands up, don't shoot.
Stealing the mic.
Yeah, no.
Oh, you're right.
I got you. Hold on. There's a woman on stage talking in the mic, and this other woman, the older lady, comes walking up and like unplugs the mic and turns around on stage and is yelling to the crowd. And in the midst of this, of her just fucking screaming, this older guy with the shirt that says "I am the weapon," so we're calling him the weapon.
Yep.
Slowly meanders up the stairs. Uses like he's old. He's an old big guy. He uses the speaker to like get up on that last step and just bitch slaps her so fucking hard.
The basement, right?
Oh yeah, just from his knee, just wham!
From fucking.
Yeah, it was like his wife's been dead for 20 years and he hasn't been able to do this for the last 2 decades. Of like, you bitch, you bam, you know.
Had to give her a rap on the beat,
Damn,
you know.
dude.
Yeah, you burnt the
Brando.
fucking dinner.
What do you think that guy tells a woman who already has 2 black eyes?
Nothing. He already done told her twice.
That's what I thought, my man.
Facts, dude.
Fucking women. All right, let's go, man.
Dude, she looks like a mixture of like Gail Lewis and like a naked mole rat.
Fucking got her with that one.
Dude,
are we gonna become a
the
morning
Gail
talk show?
Lewis-
Is this Howard Stern now?
That Gail Lewis reference. Okay,
FTS
yeah.
Okay, that was a good one. Yeah. Some fat bitch gets slapped down by the weapon.
The fucking GTA 5 talk radio.
I love that button.
Jesus. Yeah. Cool guy of the week, the weapon.
The weapon. Cool guy of the week, the weapon, coming from Iraq, dropping the bombs on the Taliban.
You could tell that guy survived a war, bro. Is he wearing a veteran's hat?
No, he is the weapon, all right?
Tell.
That's all you have to know. Okay, the weapon, cool guy of the week. We've talked about this for way too long already, boys.
Not
Sorry, I went
long
autistic with
enough.
the soundboard. It's happened.
Watching it again.
What's the code word of the week, Hatch?
All right, well, since we had Todd, right? So this one got company. That was one thing I was gonna ask him about, but you know,
Company.
it is what it is. Company.
That's
some
Todd
OG shit.
yells that all the time when he's trying to get his team together.
Yep.
It's just, I don't know, it's the way
Company.
he gets. Did it for Heat, does it for Aftershock.
Is
That our
that
coach
Chin
does that now too.
Yeah.
Our coach does that now too. It's fucking sick. You know, so it's awesome.
Like an
whereas
old school thing?
his like what you were saying earlier, Brando, his philosophy like trickles down to other coaches for sure.
Yeah.
Because people see how good of a coach he was.
That's crazy. Damn.
Yeah, so-
That's cool. I thought really,
I
honestly,
think-
thought we were
You know-
unique.
I think
Really?
this is one of the things that Todd mentioned that it opened my eyes a little bit too, because like I said, my era when I came in, Todd was like just starting to be a coach. So when I think of Todd Martinez, I think of the paintball player, because
think of
that's
Vicious
where
Buckets,
so
bro.
much more of my, like experience with him was. He brought up the great point. He's now been coaching longer than he, was a pro paintball player, which I think is crazy to think of. And I'm glad that he mentioned that because he's still stayed, just as relevant as a coach. He's, look, before, SK and Joey Blue and Ryan Brand popped up, it was known that like
Todd was the guy.
Todd Martinez knows what the fuck he's talking about. If you
Yeah,
want
like-
a good coach, you go hire him.
And Todd was up there with like Dave Baines, like some of
Mm-hmm.
the legendary coaches, right? I still think that there's a reason why he's in the Hall of Icons, without a doubt. Not only as a player, but as a coach, easily.
Yeah. No, I'm genuinely, when you told me this was happening tonight, Hatch, I was very excited. So you get all the credit for this one. I did not book this, so Hatch, good job. That round of applause is for you, buddy. But man, that was, great guest. Todd, obviously, he's a hilarious dude. He can talk about anything. But I really do appreciate him kind of going in depth on some of that stuff and, exactly what we do over here from the Silence. We show you people in different lights. I've tried to ask him some questions that I think hopefully he hasn't answered elsewhere yet, and hopefully we gave you some good entertainment for your Tuesday or whatever day in the week it is that you're listening to the show.
And the next time we get him on, we're going off the rails with it.
And it will be all fucking dicks, all podcasts. I don't know.
Oh yeah, we're making
but-
the long bus.
So we're just normal? Like it's plays that go
No,
well?
no.
Like,
Longer than a normal bus. There's
stretch
the short
limo
bus. No, there's the short bus. There's the bus. We are the long bus.
We get caught on curbs all the time. And with that, ladies
We
and
have monster
gentlemen,
truck wheels.
my name is Ryan Mafia Moffitt. That's my co-host Stephen Hatch and Brandon Brando Baird. For our special guest Todd Martinez, we also we thank him for coming on. We thank you guys for checking out the episode 142. Another week, another gem. Hatch, I think we're there. It's time to do that thing you do. Go ahead and bring us on home, brother.
Bye.
We'll see you guys on the next one.